And we're live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Addicted Podcast number 41. Today, we are joined by the usual Mr. Soul.create. He's gone hiding. And we have two very special guests with us today. We have the animals coming out of the zoo, one by one. We have the goat, Mr. Bockbiertje. And the giraffe, Mr. RedLir. Welcome.
Hello.
So I believe it's your first appearance on the Addicted Podcast, RedLir?
It is. The very first.
We'll be gentle.
Instead of trolling in the chat, I'll be trolling on the screen.
Well, that's fair enough.
Do we have some connection problems?
Hopefully not.
It's a bit slow. Well, now it's getting better.
I think it's better now.
Yeah, I've got. Don't forget, I've got sheep internet. So now and again, they chew on the line a little bit.
Yeah. Relatives of me.
That's it.
Tropical surprise. We can do the
That's it, Mr. Tropical Surprise himself. Madness is away in well, after not the last podcast, but the podcast before, Dargenator was on about ladyboys and coke and things like that, and all of a sudden, Madness booked a trip to Vietnam. So, you know, I don't know why, but there we go. So he's gone. He should be back next week, hopefully.
No salt. No salt.
No salt this week. Yes, hopefully no salt this week. Exclamation mark guests in chat should give you the link to the guests, to follow the guests, hopefully, if I've done the bot right. So yeah, how are you all this week? Bockbiertje, have you had a good week?
I had a great week. With a little bit of a bummer. You're already laughing.
You mentioned a little bit on your stream today. Why don't you tell everybody what, fantastic.
I had some issues with my streaming PC, which I also use to get certain things from the internet. And I was getting some movies, and the movie didn't play and it was provided with a codec. And I installed the codec with my silly head and there went the streaming PC. So, yeah, I got an extra 30 programs, and then I decided that it would be better to do a complete reinstall. So that was my week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
RedLir, you? What have you been up to?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Streaming Hello Kitty online. It is Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend, so it's actually a long weekend for me. I've had lots of turkey. Oh, man, I am so sleepy right now. If I fall asleep in the middle of the show, don't worry about it. It's just the turkey kicking in the tryptophan. But yeah, lots of turkey, lots of scotch. Just relaxing. Got today off. Didn't have to go to work. It's beautiful.
Did you drink some sortillet? What's it called?
Some what?
Canadian whiskey with maple syrup? Sortillet?
No. We only export that stuff to you guys.
Okay, send it here. Let it come my way.
They don't drink it themselves.
Yeah, we don't drink that ourselves. We're not crazy. We just send it out.
As Nog says, Bot got clickbaited.
Yeah, I read it. You don't have to repeat it.
Well, I don't know. I felt like we needed to, hone in a little bit on your mistakes. And Sol, what have you been up to this week apart from sleeping?
Oh my god, a lot of sleeping. Got some assignments on graphic design wise. I've been fighting WordPress for the last 5 days. Basically, it's been an exhausting fight, but we slowly got where I want stuff. I've learned CSS for the first time in my life. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I'm never doing that.
So when are you taking commission work? Is that what I'm hearing? You're setting up shop?
Listen, I'm taking work now, so if you want any graphic design work done, I'm good with graphic design, RedLir, but when it comes to coding, it's like algebra for me.
I gotcha.
I'm not good at that shit at all. But I learned it, and it's good fun, It's good fun. Persistence will get us what we want.
Excellent. For myself, I've not really been doing a lot apart from a certain patch got released, so there may have been some testing going on. You never know.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's something like we've actually got a GIF for it apparently, or a GIF, whatever you want to call it. Let's see if it works. Probably not. There we go. So
that's
apparently
the Elite Dangerous patch you're talking about, 2.4.
Yeah, that's the one. With the extra spaceships and things like that. No. So, Evocati apparently got the 3.0 patch. I say apparently a minute, so yeah, they did. But so that's going to be something. I'm just going to sit tonight and say NDA constantly.
You're not going to brag about it all night, do you?
I'm certainly not. It's nothing to brag about, trust me.
Okay.
I've spent a good few 6 hours or more looking at the login screen, so it's good fun. But that's what happens. So yeah, we're going to avoid spoilers and stuff. We're not going for those leaks and that because obviously I can't mention anything about 3.0, so we start trying to show people off the leaks and stuff. It's not good for me, and I'll just get kicked out of it. So.
We're not mentioning any of these things. You know, sadly, these things are released. I'd rather see it when it's there. You know what I mean? But
I mean, realistically,
everyone is saying.
Saying it today on, I think was it Box Stream, but you know, most of the stuff in 3.0 we've kind of already seen. We've seen all the Gamescom previews and trailers, and it's you know, so it's all on there. So realistically, there's not a lot that you can get.
Well, we will know when they release it to public.
We will see. We will see. We will be amazed. We will be amazed, and after 2 weeks, we'll start moaning that there's not enough in
it. When's 3.1? That'll be the question.
When's 3.1 coming?
Yeah.
How long do you think you'll be lasting before you'll be like, yeah, I'm bored of this patch now?
Me and Drones had a bit of a discussion about it on his stream last Saturday, and I said I think with 3.0 and there being much more space to create our own stories, because create our own things and do our own things. There's a lot more, so it will stretch us probably a bit longer than 2.6, because we have a lot more to do. We have a lot more of our own content to create, even though there might not be a lot of missions or whatever there is going to be. But we have a lot more space for roleplay, and I think that is the big thing. It's going to be a lot of fun in 3.0, and keep I don't know how you call it in English, but stretch it out a lot more and keep it playable for a much longer time. You know what I mean? Keep it amusing for a lot longer time. We can do.
Yeah, don't burn out on it. Nine test missions and just keep grinding.
Exactly. The difference is going to be big, I think, between what we got now and what we're going to get.
Absolutely.
And we're already role-playing a bit now when we go into space. We're already keeping ourselves busy, although it is hard sometimes, but we'll get there.
I think grouping's going to be a major thing in it, though. Like, them trying...
I hope that's better than now.
Well, we've had a lot of issues, haven't we, over past patches, and there was one patch where it worked pretty well. You go in a group, and then you go from your hangar into the game, and it literally loaded everybody in your group into a server, and then something happened. They kind of got... That went, and now it's hit and miss whether you get in the same servers. It's normally not too bad, but we do get that, and I think with so much more space, that's going to be a lot more important, trying to actually get groups with people, otherwise it's going to be very empty.
Yeah. I'm not always role-playing as Tina. Tina has an own personality, Starburger.
Who's Tina?
Tina's my girlfriend.
Did she ask you what's custody condom?
She asks me all the time, but we have an agreement we don't use them anymore.
Okay. You stop using condoms, yeah.
Too costly.
Okay. But coming back on what Miss said, on a serious note, I had a lot of issues trying to join one of my mates or someone on my friends list. It's such a daily struggle. It's been unbelievable. I think the last time I tried it, I had to reconnect 15 times and close start system 15 times.
Really?
Actually get into, I don't know what it is, but maybe because I play with people from the USA and I try to log into USA servers or something like that. But it's, oh my God, man. It's been a hell. I remember that game that we played last time, Buck, and with Toby and Madness.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the time I had to reconnect 15 times.
Okay. I have to say, when I usually play in the verse with Toby and the others, we usually don't have many problems. Maybe a reconnect or one or two. That's it.
I think I don't know if the EU server's slightly better or not, but it could be. I don't know.
It was crap tonight.
That's why you can all get on the same server, because nobody else is playing it at the moment.
Yeah.
It's I know there's obviously a lot of problem with desync and things like that at the moment, so that's causing issues. I think now 3.0 has been announced for the Evocati. I think you're going to get probably less. Well, I don't know. Probably less people playing it, just kind of holding on now. It sort of drops off a little bit, doesn't it? And people are snooping around for leaks instead.
I just want to see what's coming, man. But when it's there, not beforehand. When it's there, I want to jump in. I want to enjoy myself, and we'll see, man.
I think I don't know how long. It's hard to know with these sort of tests how long the Evocati are going to have it for. I mean, we've had some in the past where I felt like it's been released too early to like first wave of PTU. It depends on how much they want to push it out, I think.
What did they say this week? They have 17 issues. What I saw on the AtV, 17 problems, need fixes, or how you call it?
Well, a lot more, I guess.
Well, there's loads of need fixes, isn't there? It's just the blockers. So there was something mentioned about with Evocati, they not taken out the features, but they want to focus on certain features and then like bring out the features in waves to the Evocati. But I don't know, what we're not sure on is whether they're bringing the thing that the Evocati are testing now, whether that will then get released to PTU and then the more features will go just to the Evocati and like drip feed it down, or whether they're going to unlock everything to Evocati and then release it to everybody on the PTU sort of thing. Because I think
if I would have to make a guess, we're talking about early November, mid-November. Maybe even longer when it gets released to PTU.
Well, how many? Before they decided to declassify some other bugs, I can't remember what we were sitting at for left to fix. Whether it was something like 17 or something. Box just giving a little wave.
Yeah, 2XO.
Yeah.
So and on that subject of the someone's picking up on my microphone. I can hear myself. I don't know which one of you it is.
Not me.
Anyway,
got earbuds.
Probably Sol. It normally is. So the other thing
I'm wearing a fucking headset.
The other thing that was mentioning was the waves to PTU 1. Normally it's subscribers always get into PTU 1 and there's a few others. So they announced on the Spectrum, that's the one, that there's also now if you're concierge you'll also get into wave 1 as well. Any of you concierge or?
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
Who's that? I mean, I admit to nothing.
Someone else made me do it.
Yeah.
So
I'm both concierge and subscriber, but I think that's the trend that they've sort of been moving towards.
I think
these last PTUs.
When they start releasing it to PTU, like Wave 1, I think it's more to get a test of numbers than anything else. And so it kind of makes sense to allow subscribers, and I think concierge, the least they can do is give them access. I don't know what you guys think, whether you think it's a bad move or not. I know
Wave 1's usually around 8,000, if I'm not mistaken. I thought I saw a chart go somewhere the other day that it was like 8,000.
I thought it was, but
it's a much bigger number than what's an Evocati anyway.
There was I think Wave 1 was always subscribers and a few, I can't remember how many. I think Evocati is up to about 800 now, is it? Or did they add another 800? It was something like that. And then the Wave 1 is subscribers, now concierge, and I think a big chunk more. I think by Wave 2 you're looking at the majority of people that actually just play the game. And then I think by Wave 3 just pretty much anybody can join it, I think.
This is PTU we're talking about now, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? Because a lot of the time we have on the release of the test thing, they go from PTU opening it right up to anybody can join, and then it seems to rush out to live. Would you think it'd be better to kind of open it up more, but leave it on PTU so that people that want to download it can download it, and those that still think it's too buggy to play? Because rather than having, because before when you've only got a live version, you're forced to play that version whether it's good or not.
You know what it is, in my opinion? We're back in an alpha game in early alpha still. Let's be honest. It's nowhere close to a full release. So. And it's a bit of a thing that we've seen in the community lately. We have a lot of people moaning on one side, this is not there, this is not there. And then you have the other side of the medallion that says we're in a fucking alpha. Shit is not going to work. It's not a full game. Do not expect a full game. And I think if people can keep that clear in mind and think to themselves, okay, it's a fucking alpha. Just throw it out there, because it's not a full release. It might be a PTU versus a full patch release, but it's still alpha. If it's PTU or the full patch release, it is still alpha, both versions. So why not just throw it on there and get people to misuse it, I like to call it, and break things and develop it that way and do. But that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't. When the PTU is available, I'll download it. I'm that guy that does, and I know that it couldn't not be running, you know what I mean, or that it could not run properly because it's a fucking alpha.
Yeah, but
I think another thing is would those people that are deciding, well, let's go for the PTU build, will they also use the issue council when they come across bugs, or are they like, I'm just playing 3.0 now?
No, shouting a lot. I use the issue council. When I find something, I'll throw it in there. You know what I mean?
But I think the majority won't.
Well,
so in that vision, it's not a good thing to release it to a broader public, but for certain performance testing and stuff,
exactly,
it can be useful, but not exactly for the issue council.
Well, this is why the so we've said it a few times, but we'll go over it in case people are watching and don't understand. But this is what the Evocati were basically created for, because before that was in there, we had just the PTU Wave 1, 2, and 3, and the big chunk of people were getting into PTU Wave 1. And the problem was everybody was submitting bugs, but because I don't know, people do it in other games, they want like prestige of I've submitted this many bugs and I've done this many reports or whatever, that they were getting, instead of people checking to see if the report was already in there or whether the bug was already done, they would just literally submit a new report. So if you've got like 1,000, 2,000 people all put in exactly the same bug report, CIG were basically saying it was taking them longer to filter through everybody's bug reports than it was to actually just send it to their own QA team and get them to test it.
There's also a problem though with the actual bug logging and searching for it. I don't know if they've actually fixed it. I should go check. But if you tried to search for a bug, the more keywords you put in to narrow the scope down, the more hits you would actually get. It would turn into an or versus an and search, and it was just like almost impossible to find anything.
It seemed to hit like every word you put as separate rather than as a sentence. Right. Yeah. It's and it's a tricky one. It is definitely something they needed to have sorted because that's causing issues. But I mean, I think they get the similar, even with the Evocati thing. You're still getting like duplicate bugs and stuff, and it's not always people's fault. That's for sure. It's just one of those things, but that's kind of why they tried to narrow it down with Evocati, basically. So they got less reports and hopefully more people confirming those reports. And it's the same way as they didn't just want 50 people clicking confirm. They want you to list in a good detail. So if you want to know how to become Evocati or at least get considered, when you're doing your bug reports, you need to make sure you're not big lengthy reports, but just precise on what you did, how you logged in, what you were doing at the time, and put it in stage form on what you did and why it crashed, and then submit that with screenshots, videos of what went wrong, and things like that.
You know what it is, Miss? Not everyone is, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but not everyone, and I noticed it in when I used to work at bigger organizations. You need to have that sort of mindset, the ability to do those things as well. Not everyone can troubleshoot. I'm not the greatest at it, but there are some people that can and some people that cannot, you know what I mean? There are some people that are very good at grabbing that problem, dividing that into bits, put a screenshot behind it, nicely ordered, and send it out. But some people don't have that ability, and I'm not good at it, you know what I mean? I'm just, because when I start talking about something on the podcast, it's a good fucking example. I say things 4 times in a different way, but I'm still saying the same thing at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that already shows that I'm not very good at grabbing something, summing it up, and sending it out. And I think if you have those people like that are in the Evocati now, those are mostly and like yourself, you know, I know you're good at that sort of things. You grab those things together, you filter it out what you need out of the issue, and you send it out. You know what I mean? And it's having those people in those first stages and in Evocati, I think, is the best way to do it, and then start drip feeding it out to people like myself or
I mean, the main issue is which like Bock hit on is that everyone is desperate. We're all desperate to see the next patch. We're all desperate to play the next bit of content and everything else. And that's what it comes to, and that's what a lot of the moaning comes from. It's just we all want to see it, and we all want to see it now. But as I think, like Sherman's saying in chat, it's just that for the Evocati, it's not so much about playing it. Although, you know, don't get us wrong, everybody wants to still get in there, but it's to test it. Because there's builds, we've had them in the past tests where you literally just spamming the login button and you're just getting error codes and you just delete this user folder, delete your own folder, reinstall the game. So from like earlier testings, I was downloading like 30 gigabyte twice a day, trying to get into it. So it's not fun as such, but we all want to try and get this game. What we want to do is try and get it so that it gets out to live quicker, get these bugs fixes. So it's
a message for everyone in stream. You are able to donate hay for the sheep that keep Mrs. Internet running. So you can send all your hay to Wales and he will sort it out for you. And we can get those patches coming in, you know what I mean? So
is it still keep going down? Wouldn't surprise me if the missus is streaming something on TV downstairs. It normally messes it up.
The missus is watching Dancing with the Stars. Is that what
something
it is?
Like that?
She's testing 3.0 right now.
She nicked my account. But so yeah, I think that's pretty much covered that really. But I think when they get to sort of like wave 2 and 3, I think it is more stress testing though. It is just to get the numbers rather than people submitting all the bugs. That's
Listen,
why
I do not agree with Disposable Hero here. I'm a millennial, yeah. I'm not impatient. It comes when it comes. You know?
Are you the one? Now we know.
Look, I will find you. I will find you.
I will track you down, boy.
I will track you. What was it again? Taken with Leslie Nielsen or whatever his name is. Leslie something.
Lee. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Leslie.
No.
I want to throw that out there.
Leslie
is that the dude from? Yeah, I know who Leslie Nielsen is now. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Name. He has a similar name, right?
It was Qui-Gon Jinn. Come on.
Wow.
God.
Okay. On that happy note, is there anything else you guys wanted to mention about the testing or anything like that? No,
I just want to say to all your Evocati members out there, keep up the fucking good work and get something nice out of it.
Yep. Take your time.
Yep.
But hurry up.
Liam Neeson, that's it. Liam Neeson. I was close.
Liam. Okay. Right, where are we? So yeah, anybody wants to ask us questions, exclamation mark. I'll start again. If anybody wishes to ask the cast questions, exclamation mark question in chat, and that'll bring up the form for you guys. If you want to do that. So anyway, some of the things, I'm just trying to go through some of the stuff Madness put up, because he's put it up and I haven't had, well, I don't know what he's talking about on half of it, to be honest.
We never know what he's talking about, to be honest.
So one of the things, I don't know. So we had the monthly report out, so that was one of the main things that we had this week, apart from the 3.0 release, which gave us a little bit more information from the studios, because we're not getting that at the moment from the different, obviously the ATVs, because they've been taken out for Give Us Burn Down, so we've got a little bit more info on those, so we'll have a little look at some of that. One of the things he's linked up is the female character model, so let me just find that for you. Is this going to work? Why does this never work when I transition it? There we go. We'll do it that way. So I think some of these are from earlier day modelings, and he's just, I think someone's loaded them up through like as the production's gone on from them. So these are like early 2013 shots. So they've had these models for quite some time, because we're still waiting on the female model.
Right, yeah.
But I think if we come down, so you can see some of the improvements and the work that's been going on. And I think the one we had in the latest ATV was somewhere down here.
I like it, man. I like it.
It's looking really good. The level of detail in it is amazing.
Yeah.
But so this was
especially the backside. It's amazing detailed.
That's all you're looking at, isn't it? The hand
something-
detail on that.
It's something that we should have had a long time ago, though. I know it's probably not as easy as it was, but for me, I would love to see more female gamers in the game. You know, I have a nice healthy mix of men and women.
Well, you know, if we can encourage more, I think not having a female model does put some females off. I mean, we're obviously still in testing, but I think it's the same way. I know a lot of men do play female characters, but there's also a lot of men that don't. It feels weird playing a female character, and I think some of the females, I know some of the streamer females have said the same thing, that they just want a female model.
I want a female model. I mean, if there's not going to be a giraffe model, I want a female model.
Giraffes in space, you never know if you keep asking.
Yeah.
And gender neutral models. Come on, that's going to be the next big discussion.
Gender neutral models. So for this one here, what was interesting in the title of the actual picture was the undersuit final. So I'm guessing this is what they looks like they're going for. They're happy with. I think they didn't they mention something about they still need to work on animation. There's more animations that they want to do for like the male model before they move on to implementing the female model. Yes, definitely there was. But yeah, they're looking good. So that was some of the information we got on the studio report. Let me have a look.
Give us models, Mac. Give us models. I'll give you a model, man. Hit me up later.
So
I'm a plus model, though.
Let's go down to on here. So one of the things that they showed was also the oxygen towers. I'm just loading up a few things while I was there. So obviously there's issues of running around the planet with. We mentioned in the Gamescom demos the oxygen didn't last very long when they were sprinting from like place to place or moving around. And obviously with the introduction of like the space bikes, they don't have any way of giving you oxygen while you're on the bike. So I think these oxygen towers are going to definitely be needed. What are your opinions on like how long you think you should be able to go without getting oxygen? I know it changes a little bit obviously with the suit you're wearing, but
yes.
I don't know. I think it's like any of those systems, like stamina, oxygen, all the stuff that they talk about. My concern is you end up playing the mechanic versus enjoying the gameplay. So it definitely has to be an amount that you're not just constantly thinking, oh my God, I got to go eat, take a dump, replace oxygen, and, basically playing some sort of Sims game, I guess.
Yeah, it's and I don't want to mention Hellion again, but I have to. In Hellion, at some point, you forget about it, but that is a game that's very pushed on survival, you know what I mean? So it's an important factor there. I think in a game like Star Citizen, you want the other side of the medallion completely, you know what I mean? It must be there. You want it to be an aspect of it, but not a big aspect of it, you know?
Yeah.
Not that something when you're doing stuff that you're constantly thinking, oh, I need to replenish my oxygen, I need to do this, you know? I don't think that's the type of game that Star Citizen is aiming for, and I hope they will continue going that road, you know, because it's fun in a game like Hellion, but this is not a Hellion game. This is not a survival game. This is an MMO type open world. Do whatever the fuck you want. That is in Chris's mind game. You know what I mean? So I would love to see the other side, the complete other side. I'm with RedLir. You know, I don't want to be constantly thinking, oh, where's my oxygen? I need to do something. I'm going to die. You know.
I definitely think from like the Gamescom demo preview we saw, was they running out of oxygen on that one? Or was one of them I saw that they were running out of oxygen pretty quickly, and I think that was, to me, would be too quick, because especially if you're going to go and explore wrecks and things like that, you need enough time to be able to go and explore these buildings and like the wrecked ships and all that lot without keeping.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, what you see on a demo and testing, half the time they probably have things set to pretty extreme levels just so they actually kick in and they can see the effects of them and stuff too. It doesn't mean that's how it's going to go out live either.
So do we know how these towers work? Do you have to stand close to it? Do you have to attach something from your suit to the tower? How does it work?
I mean, I think it said on there it was just oxygen refill stations, so I presume that you're just going to go up there. I mean, I don't know how if they're going to keep everything the same, like just go up there and re-top up your oxygen tanks, and then that's it. I don't know if you just
because I'm looking
at
at
that type of thing.
I'm looking at that picture, and they've got 3 towers behind each other.
Yeah.
So why, if you're gonna have to connect your suit or your oxygen bottles to the tower, why place them so far apart?
Or maybe someone with a ship that lands next to it and wants to refill his ship with oxygen?
I think for that picture, it's probably they've just dotted a few on the landscape just to show it off, I think.
Probably.
I don't know. That's what I took from that. They've just gone like an oxygen farm almost, like as if you had like a solar panel farm. Yeah. They've just dotted a few down.
I think an important aspect is going to be your vehicle as well. You park your vehicle close. If you run out of oxygen, you go to your vehicle, you top your suit up, and you go back out. So you will always have to probably go up and down. And with only having a limited space in your bags, if you go exploring a wreck and you're taking a lot of shit with you, you need to offload anyway into your ship. So you're probably going back to your ship. You're going to offload your stuff. Your suit gets refueled while you're at your ship, and you get the hell out again. And you do that again, and you do that a couple of times. So you will have to go back and forward in between ship or vehicle probably anyway, unless you're going onto some food expedition, running about, where I think these towers come in more handy. But if you're next to a wreck in space, for example, your ship is going to be next to it anyway. So if you want to top up, you get in, you do it there, and you get back out again, for example. Or you could have a stupid idea, what I was thinking about. You could have a designated guy in your team that carries around extra oxygen, for example. Like a medic with medic supplies. It might sound stupid, but you have the oxygen guy constantly high on his own fucking supply. You know what I mean? Going for it.
I think the issue is we come back to... So I've seen that argument a lot, and I think it's going on a little bit in chat now, is the difference between the realism of it and the fun aspect. Which is always going to be difficult because obviously different people's vision of what fun and realism is obviously one way, realism, but different people's opinion of what fun is, I suppose, is what causes probably more of the issue because even now, if you look at survival games that are available, there's tons of different ones, and they all have.
CIG Sherman commented on that in chat too, right? So he says expect a good counterbalance of things since while it shouldn't be some heavy-handed mechanic, but at the same time, you shouldn't be magically forgiven for wholesale ignoring that system altogether.
Exactly.
There's got to be a balance.
Balance is the word again, like always.
Yeah, you can never please everybody either. So
you've got to have. I mean, I think overall we're going to be having the vision of what Chris wanted, which is what we backed right from the start. So we'll end up having what he decides he wants. I think they have always said that the survival mechanics would be there, but not like so in your face.
Well, if you don't like it, you just stay in space. Don't go down.
Don't get out of the ship. Well, there is that, yeah, definitely. So you just be a spaceman instead.
Yeah.
And I think they said for the eating and that, it wasn't so much that you needed to eat, but you'd be getting buffs and stuff from it instead, which I thought that was probably a better mechanic. And they did say, I think the better fed you are, then the more your oxygen will last and things like that as well.
It's a good way of doing it. That's how most MMOs doing it. The better fat you are, the least amount of resources you use, or you get a certain buff. And I think that is the way to go forward. Because in an MMO, it's not a survival game. You want to play. Look at an example, Black Desert that I play. You don't have to eat, but if you eat, you get extra stats, and that is handy. But it's not a necessity, and that's what I love to see. But Buck might want something else, that's what RedLir just said. There's so many different aspects. Some people like blonde girls, some people like brunettes, you know what I mean? So we can't please everyone at the end of the day,
No. You can't. I think it's impossible to make a game that would please everybody.
We just follow the vision of Chris, and Chris's vision changes every week, so we just
that's the problem as well. It's like, I wasn't going to have survival mechanics, but actually this week I've decided I actually quite like it. I play. He's sitting there playing other games, isn't he? He's going, actually, I now like this survival idea. Let's put this in Star Citizen as well.
Oh god.
Let's hope he doesn't play too much Elite.
In 2 years' time, we'll be driving ponies around in space or something.
When he plays a bit of No Man's Sky, we're going to have some bright pink planets and bright green. So on the similar vein of realism versus fun, what are your opinions? So this week we had on the happy hour, they had the development of the Space Whale. What are your opinions on that?
I love space whales.
Yes. Buck?
Me? I don't give a rat's ass about space whales. No.
Well, actually, you don't want them in, or you don't care?
Not exactly. If it makes people happy, okay, go for it. But
what about space giraffes?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
If we're talking about space goats, he would be right up there for it.
Yeah, but not flying goats. Just stick them on a planet, and then it will be fine. But no, space whales. I don't get it.
I'm with Buck on this one. I like to lean towards realism in things that I see. You know, I've mentioned it before that I don't want to see pink fucking spaceships or bright flashing lights or whatever. But yeah, that is realism nowadays indeed. But if the space whale was in a sea on a planet, perfect. You know, I think it would be cool to see that on an aqua planet. I don't know. Maybe you can give him a helmet or something.
That's just a whale.
That's a whale. I don't know. I just follow what is becoming. I don't. At the end of the day, do not care what it is as long as we get Star Citizen. But I'm not a big fan of the space whale. You know, it might be
what if you're driving around and like your Carrick, your cat, and the space whale just wrecks you? Are you gonna be upset?
Yes, I'm going to be pissed off.
I'm gonna sell it to Japan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice one, Buck. Well, I'll be flying a Bano Merchantman, RedLir. I'll probably blowing that thing to pieces. My Transformer arms will come out on the side. You know, and we have Space Whale for dinner.
Space Whale.
What's for dinner? Space Whale.
Space Whale.
What's for dinner?
Exactly.
So yeah, for my opinion, I'm with RedLir as well. I like the Space Whale idea. I suppose I'm more on the side of having things fun than realism. I like the survival mechanics. I like the survival mechanics, but for things like this, it's just, to me, it would add more depth to space, giving it something interesting.
You could make it an Easter egg. Then I'm okay with it, but flying in space and coming across a whale, I don't know.
It's just a big creature that lives in the gas giants, isn't it? But
yeah,
you know what it is, Miss. It's not like I'm going to say one day to Bockbiertje, for example, Buck, let's go find this fucking space whale. If I run into it, fine, you know, I'll wave at it, I'll have a drink on him, and I'll fuck off. But for the rest of it, you know what it is. I'd rather see spaceships, techie things, you know what I mean? I'm not the alien-esque kind of guy. I said it to Drones last Sunday when we were playing Warframe. I said I would love for these Warframes to be a bit more techie instead of alien-esque, you know what I mean? But it's, my opinion, is 1 out of a fucking million at the end of the day.
Yeah, but what if you could put like a harness on it, you know, and just run it around?
Yeah.
It's like get into a dogfight with it, you know?
Fly inside it.
No.
Live inside it. What's wrong with that? It's just like being an organic ship, isn't it? Well, in the Jump Gate that I used to play as a space game, they had like space squids, space eels. Well, we called them eels. They looked like eels, snails and everything else. They were just like alien creatures, basically.
There was an old Star Trek episode, wasn't there, on The Next Generation that had something similar, where it was kind of an organic, you know, ship in space. It was a space whale.
Farscape had their ship was alive, wasn't it? It was. I know that one. I can't remember the Star Trek one, but. It depends. Yeah, I mean, some people maybe even prefer that if it was more of a living ship or something.
Can I ask, what is the circle around there on the picture?
I don't know.
What is circled out on that picture? Is that his wiener?
I think it was just where he happened to be working on it at the time. But to me, that looks more like a fish than a whale anyway.
Space wieners confirmed.
Add space creatures as
Space
well.
wieners, yeah.
I don't see what's wrong with it. It just gives you more things to look out for while you're in space. Rather than
definitely.
Same ships all the time. But there we are.
No, but if you look at Elite Dangerous, they have those aliens, the Targoids, and they look like flowers, and it's organic.
Yeah, you prefer that, do you? You're a flower man.
I'm not. No. I'm not feeling it as well. I don't see aliens as well. Those things.
It's a brush.
Yeah, it's no.
Bockbiertje wants to see Oktoberfest in space. That's what Bockbiertje wants.
No, but definitely on the planet.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna arrange that.
Loads of beer, a lot of Helgas screaming.
Yeah, but I'm perfectly fine with Vanduls and Xian and all these different species. That's perfectly fine. But those weird.
There he goes.
What did I do?
No. I was looking to RedLir. He was showing off his space giraffe. I would love to see a space pineapple though. That's something that I would be running hot for.
A space pineapple.
Tropical surprise.
So so on that alien ship note, the other thing we did see a picture of was the Void Vandal bomber, isn't it? I think.
Wow, I didn't see that actually. That's gorgeous.
I like that.
And that is, I really like that. Can we nick one? That's what I want to know.
Where do I send my money?
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. Maybe this spawns on people's thoughts of realism as well. But do you prefer, like in terms of what ships you prefer? For me personally, I definitely prefer the alien-looking style rather than the sort of Aegis and stuff, which just look like modern planes put in space.
I don't know. I mean, I like both actually. I do like. I mean, I like how the aliens ships look per se, but right now I prefer how, like an Aegis ship or an Anvil ship performs. But it's hard to compare, until the game is out.
Yeah, I'd say the other ships do handle better at the moment.
I think I like to see both, a good mix of both. I'm an owner of a Banu merchantman, so I own an alien ship at the end of the day anyway. I still feel it has a lot of the ships that we've seen up till now, RedLir, except the Xperia Glaive and that sort of stuff. They obviously have a lot of human touches to it anyway at the end of the day, you know what I mean? They're very believable, and that's what I like about it. They're very... you could see this stuff in 40 years, and I don't know whenever it plays 24, whatever, in 400. It's something that is believable, and I like this. I like this stuff. I'm a big fan of it. I'd rather see this stuff than the Space Whale. But that's just my opinion. With the shapes and the forms, it's still very alien-esque, organic, but there's a good mix in between technology and these sort of shapes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think they can slightly get away with being more creative with the alien races, I suppose, on the looks of their ships.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I prefer functionality over flair. I mean, like the Cartoal, the Scout is a good example. Like, I love the idea of that ship. I love how it technically looks, but the scale of it is way too big. It's just like the dangly parts, as I call them, for example, they just stick out too much. You feel like you're bigger than what you're supposed to be for the functionality of the ship.
Yeah, from a scout point of view, it looks almost like it's a small fighter, because the way it opens up is almost like a threat. If you think of that as like a modern animal that we have, or insect or something, that's what they do in kind of like a warning thing. So it almost looks aggressive.
Yeah, it just feels like there's too many. There's more pieces on it than were necessary just to make it look a certain way, and it just hinders the actual, performance and the intent of the ship in my eyes. But they definitely look cool.
Definitely.
That's the thing. Do you want to look cool, or do you want it to be functional? I'll just go with something that looks cool that does nothing. Look at my call of brick.
You want the space camper.
Yeah, those dangly bits, yeah.
All those dangly
this is all about the space Winnebago.
But it is kind of like... I mean, the only one I've got that's close to that is like the Reliant And that's a good example because you just blow one of the wings off and it's totally screwed. It doesn't seem to last 2 minutes. The engine just gets you clip a wing and it's like
no, but that's what MISC always advertised as. A human ship. No, a human-built ship with a lot of alien technology in it. You know what I mean? So that's what MISC stands for, which I think is cool. It's a very healthy mix of the both, and then you got all the glaive stuff that is leaning more towards the Defender, which is leaning more towards the alien races. I think the MISC ships sit in between human-made stuff and alien-made stuff. There's a lot of alien tech is used in those ships, lore-wise. You know what I mean? It's cool. I like it. I think MISC is really good when it comes to that.
It's the first ship that I bought. MISC use the sort of both, integrate the alien technology into their stuff, so you're getting a little bit of both. So you probably get the more functionality of a human ship with at least some of the alien technology involved, I suppose.
Exactly, yeah. Without all the dangly bits.
Alien tech without the dangly bits, nice.
As RedLir says,
Doesn't mean I don't own one, but
Yes.
So I don't know what that was. Just trying to look at what Madness has put on there. So one of the other things that we came through on the monthly report was the Cyclone is now entering the white box stage, which is nice to know. We get another ground vehicle on its way.
That's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to those things.
It's
I'm looking very much forward to those things.
Seems to be a little bit. I don't know where they said that they were going to be modular, and then they're not going to be modular and things. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we're going to be able to swap out the things to interchange. They made it like it was supposed to be, but then they kind of backtracked on that. So I would like to see that you could buy a base model and change whatever you want, function you want it to be, rather than necessarily having like 5 of them. You could have the modules stored and change them. But that's my opinion. So the other thing they added was some new fog effects in the Caterpillar. I don't know. There's one thing we get in at the moment in some of the ships, though, that they seem to be foggy on the inside for no reason. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but
I mean, I see that everywhere in hangars and.
Oh, yeah, definitely the hangars I had to change. I don't know why it's doing that, but it kind of it doesn't look right when you're walking through, and there's no real reason for it to show the damage states. But it kind of that's what it feels like, that the ship's damaged slightly with all the fog effect.
They try to create atmosphere, obviously, which is not a bad thing, but you don't want to overdo it, in my opinion,
Either you've been in there and smoking a few cigarettes, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, generally, I don't really pay too much attention to that kind of stuff. I just figure it's not complete, and I just move on,
Yeah. I think, especially being in the hangar, it was just something that was there, and then, like you said, I think it's just been added, but not the hangars are getting a rework and everything else as well anyway, so I thought this next screenshot was from the monthly report, which was just showing you, I think, a bit more of the fog effect and the atmospheric effects that we're getting, the way the lighting's hitting it and things like that.
I love that. That's nice.
I definitely think that's one thing you can say about Star Citizen, is it freaking looks awesome. You see those sort of screenshots and it does just look
even with the Alpha Red anyway, they seem to be much further advanced than other games, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it needs to be, if you have that of a lengthy development time, you need to keep moving with this stuff, You see it with Item 2.0 coming in and everything getting upgraded, and they constantly keep moving with the most recent dangly bits, I don't know how you say it. With the most recent technology anyway, so that's a good thing.
They aim to be the best. They wanted sort of everything being the top-notch technology. We hit a bit on it the other week, saying the computer systems you kind of need for it to work and stuff. But yeah, the aim is to be high-end spec, or at least, I mean, by the time it comes out, it'll probably be middle to high. But to get all these effects and everything, you're definitely going to need a computer that handles it. But I feel like for gameplay wise, it adds so much more depth to the game. It makes like these darker corridors feel more alive and things like that when they. And I suppose like on any of these things, if they've done it correctly, you don't necessarily notice it. You're not looking at it going, "Oh, look at that." It's just kind of the whole atmosphere for the whole map affects that. It feels right.
Yeah, I saw this question last weekend, I believe. Why is CIG redoing stuff? And this is one of those things. They are really into, well, for instance, smog or fog and that sort of stuff.
Atmosphere, you know.
And it looked good at first, but then they're doing it a little bit better, and it affects the performance in a positive way. It will not stress your graphics card all the way to the max. So that's the reason why they keep redoing those kind of things, and basically end up with hopefully a fantastic result.
Yeah, I mean, refactoring stuff is a normal part of development, right? And especially if as you're going along, you know, maybe something new that you're using comes along that's better than what was there before, and you just plug that in instead.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so many reasons.
Resources a lot, I think, as well. You know, in the beginning, you'll see that smog takes 50% of something, and then they'll find something that only uses 5% with the same result. So why wouldn't you implement it when you can? You know what I mean? And you have 45% to put in other shit, basically, and be Chris Bean with a movie background and a lot of atmosphere and that sort of creating of that sort of stuff. You will always see that in his vision anyway. You know what I mean? I think atmosphere in the movie world is a big thing. You know. And in gaming as well.
I think in games it's definitely a big thing. I mean, when you look at, especially a good one to kind of compare it to is like horror games. Because when you get into them and they want to try and scare you, the whole way to do that is to build up that atmosphere, whether it be through the right music in the background, which is what we're getting in Star Citizen, through the effects of like smoke, lighting, all that sort of thing adds to really, because the only way you're really going to be frightened in a game is to actually be dragged into that game and feel like you're actually there walking around it, I think. So I think that's why this atmosphere and all these effects are extremely important to make the game feel more real, which is why like things like No Man's Sky didn't really appeal to me so much, because it was just all really bright fluorescent colours and it just didn't feel like it could, like Candyland, and I think the missus played something like flipping Candy something on Facebook, and it's just like bright pinstripe colours.
No Man's Sky is one big freaking LSD trip, man. Someone put a freaking thing in its neck and he went for it. You know what I mean? It's like it's too much. It's and some people love it. You know, it attracts a certain type of player. I'm not a big fan of the whole freaking bright colors, and I rather see a bit more toned down stuff. And I think with the creation of the ships that we have now, each ship having their own identity, or each brand having their own identity, I think you see a good beginning of what we're going to get overall with everything, you know what I mean? Because you have the Drake has more of that foggy, smoky kind of idea, underground stuff. Then you have the Constellations, which are all very bright, techy, you know, and that's cool as well. I like that. I like those things. I think Astroneer is very much like that as well, yeah.
I think it's just that it does affect the feel of the game. So, like, a good example would be Public Battlegrounds at the moment, which is more on the realistic side compared to Fortnite, who have just released like a battle arena type thing, but it's all cartoony, a lot more bright colours. And if you PUBG feels more like you're part of that world, whereas the other one
is more like Arma-ish.
If that makes sense.
PUBG is more Arma-ish, obviously, and the other one leans more towards the cartoony side of things, you know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the cartoony one doesn't pull you in as much. It feels more like you're playing a game, whereas the other one makes you feel more like you're there.
But it doesn't mean that those games are not fun.
It's just different ways
of
playing
with that. It's just different ways of doing it, you know. I played Tree of Life. It's all very...
Yeah.
You have Black Desert, which is more the realistic graphics, you know what I mean? Still not very close, but they try at least, you know.
Don't forget DayZ. Yeah, I know DayZ. I mean, there's loads of them out there. DayZ and things like that are going for a similar premise as Star Citizen in terms of feeling more realistic. And it definitely changes how you feel about the game, I think. And then this screenshot we got on here was another one that was in the monthly report. Just shows you the quality of these sort of picture-in-picture and the hologram things and that we're getting as well. Mood lighting. I think there was some more somewhere else. Let me see if I can find it. That was showing off just some of the different lighting scenes as well. Which
the holograms is going to be an interesting system, guys. It's going to be a real interesting system.
Yeah, I can't wait to sort of see that.
Because you don't necessarily need to meet up with each other to have a proper conversation with each other, which I think is going to be really cool. Especially in bigger orgs and that sort of things. Someone is doing a trade mission, you can have a chat with them and still have that feel that you're pretty close to each other and have a chat. And it's going to really pull that org or corporation priority forward. Because it's going to be a big thing.
I don't know if any of you played Star Wars: The Old Republic. They implemented a system similar in terms of if you were grouped up and because all of that was completely voiced, so you needed to hear the quest speaker to give you the quest or the mission that you picked up, and obviously if you're not with your group, you would miss all the story and everything. So they implemented a hologram caller on that, so that if you was away from the group, you could still join the conversation, and then the people in the group would have you up on like a little holo caller on your wrist, and then you would have the same conversation up. You could be there and hear it and listen to it. So I definitely think something like that going on in this game, it would be obviously the quality is going to be completely different, a lot higher, much more interesting, but it will be nice to see that sort of implemented, and I hope they go as far as like Star Wars did, so that you can accept when you're on mission givers, you don't necessarily all have to be there.
For example, someone waiting in a ship, one guy going into Delamar to speak with, what's the dude's name again? Where we changed the jacket
Miles.
400 times, Miles. Speak with Miles, you know what I mean? And then you in the ship that is waiting for that person to pick that up can see what Miles says on some sort of hologram. Is that the way you mean it, Miz? Or
Yeah.
That would be good, though. I think that would make for more immersive gameplay at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Because I could be preparing the ship for another mission while someone else is going to pick up the quest, you know what I mean? I'm preparing or unloading or whatever, and can still hear what's going on in the conversation. That's going to be cool, man. I can't
you
wait
could have
for
someone
those sort of
loading up
things.
your ship, doing the cargo while the other people are actually talking to somebody, that sort of thing, still be involved. And
Then
obviously
you can really start to define roles for people in your team as well, and that's going to be cool, Captain could be preparing the ship, one of the guys could be unloading, one of the other guys could be speaking to Miles, one of the other guys is going to the market to pick up some stuff that we need for the next mission, and you still be all in the loop of what's going on,
Mm-hmm. So so I was just waiting to see if anyone else had anything to say. But on the screen we've got pictures from the I think it's the Ruto shop, which is basically the shop at Grim Hex, and again it's just showing off the sort of atmosphere.
I wouldn't buy anything there, man. It looks a bit shady.
Well, that's Grim Hex for you. Again, everything is a mess. Like, they do need someone to come along and clean things up a bit. Like, there's cables everywhere.
They could hire you for it, man. They could hire you for it.
Cables everywhere. Signs just left hanging off the wall. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it looks, every one of these, it looks more like a cinematic thing that's been made just for screenshots rather than an actual in-game screenshot, which is what's so nice about the game. It's like everything you see and it's becoming more realistic to look at, that it's just like you're looking everywhere going, oh wow, that's amazing, or that's amazing, rather than when you see all these CG trailers that come out and then the game comes out and you think this is nothing like the trailer. Whereas the beauty of this game is they don't even need it, they just basically show you screenshots from the game and that is your trailer. So it's coming along really nicely, I think, which is why we need to be patient.
That's why we spend all this fucking money.
So we got a couple of new things that's being added into 3.0, if I can just get those up, which is the trading console, so this is I don't think it's been on any of the ATVs yet. Let me just put it across. So I don't know if you guys seen this in the monthly report. So it's to do with like trading the cargo, buying and selling your different bits of stuff from the shops. I don't know if it's going to be like part of the mission system or trading within each other or not, how it's going to work exactly. But so these are like the new computer screens I think we're getting.
We've seen a similar thing in this week's ATV with the claiming of your insurance and stuff, right? Those were similar to these, only they were yellowish or white more.
Yeah.
I like that concept.
This one is to do with basically your goods. So it gives you an idea of on here like how much things cost, how much per unit, like the sort of size the unit boxes. Everything's being sold in like crates, isn't it? So how much one crate would cost and things like that. And then it looks like from these screenshots at least that it delivers it to your ship for you. So I'm guessing that's like first iteration because obviously we haven't got a way of putting it into the cargo. I don't know if this is going to be working in 3.0 or not.
I hope so.
Hopefully, because it means we can then start actually trading goods. And
it's one of the main things that I want to do, transporting and trading. So for me, I hope that they will bring something like that in, even if it is a first iteration where we do not physically pick up the crates and put them in our ships. You know what I mean? It's as long as we can do some trading, it's going to be fun. I think those missions are again have a much longer lifespan. Probably might be the same fucking mission that you're transporting something, but you can run into something different every time. You know what I mean? A pirate could come on your way or whatever, and that stretches it out a bit again. Hopefully on the way and I don't want to mention it too much, but 3.1 obviously, this is the fleet manager one. I love this.
This one, there's one thing I don't like.
I hate it.
You don't like it.
It's just a stupid little thing, but you've got this yellow interface, and then look at those bottom corners. They're cutting off the text.
Yeah.
They'll probably fix those things, but you know what I mean?
I'm like, just get it straight.
It's not that it's because they've got it right to the borders of the unit, and I think it's because is it like the picture-in-picture type thing that they've got set up, so
I don't know.
Going to the edge. I don't know about the whole
Buck.
The
so there is on the middle of your mouse there is some sort of a button. It's a scroll wheel, yeah. As soon as you scroll down, the bits that are cut off
those dangly bits, as it were.
Those dangly bits become available to you to click on.
I know, no, but I'm starting to sound a little bit like a little bit of madness, but
no, but need someone like that on the show anyway,
It immediately catched my eye, and I'm like, no, I would have designed that differently, but
I can't say I noticed
that's
that.
just.
But the general interface, the way the interface is set up, the coloring.
Oh, absolutely, love it.
Okay.
I suppose what you mean is on here they've made borders for. So I've gone back to the other one, but they've made borders for the edges of that. Whereas this is more like. I mean, to me, this one it just looks more like a spreadsheet. You don't want all monitors
to be the same, right? You want a bit of variation and diversion, right?
No.
Sure, but a different interface, but not a different, a whole lot of different. What do you call it? Tablet thingy display.
Majiki Bobby.
Yeah. It's nothing. Continue.
No,
it's fine, man. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
You're allowed your OCD. It's fine.
Yeah. Thank you.
We don't judge here, man. We don't judge.
I just think I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the.
We haven't said anything about the fact that you're wearing lederhosen, so we don't judge here on this.
Watch it. I will slap my belly again.
It's not my stream, so you're free to go. Did you see that episode, RedLir, by the way?
I admit to nothing.
Where he decided to unfold his upper body and start slapping it like a seal.
Surely there must be a clip somewhere of that.
Oh, yes.
There is.
Can we watch that right now?
So this is the new.
I agree with Sherman there. Not every display should have the exact same bezel. You know what I mean? You want that diversion. You want that, and especially we've seen it in the ships as well, Buck. You know what I mean? Every ship and every brand
it's just
has a different
nitpicking, but it immediately catched my eye, and that's all. That's all.
This is the Saber, right?
So this is the new Saber.
I fucking love it. I fucking love it. I do not care that they changed the cockpit. It looks fucking good.
It looks amazing.
Fucking good. There's only one person that will moan about this. It looks fucking
and
good.
he's not here. That's why we get it out of the way now while he's not here. I mean, I'm not a very good pilot. I just fly the ships and I hit a lot of things. So to me, as long as it looks nice like that, I suppose you may. As long as everything's where it needs to be and you can see it reasonably easy, I'm fine with that. But look-wise, this looks amazing. I think it looks really nice.
And the way these cockpits are made, and that is something that people are constantly forgetting, is with the eye on Item System 2.0 as well, with the eye on having a free look around your cockpit as well, you know. And a lot of the comments that I see at the moment are from people like, oh, this is not reachable, I cannot reach this, because it's not fucking introduced the way it should be yet in 2.6 that we have now, you know. The free movement isn't there yet, only if you have a Track IR or a VR system or something like that. But with Item System 2.0 in mind, these designs are beautiful, man. You're going to have such a great time, such a great feel of being in that ship, being the commander of that ship, you know what I mean? Being the guy waving the fucking staff around in that cockpit, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's going to be great at the end of the day. It's going to be amazing, you know.
Why are you waving a staff around?
This is not, you know what I mean?
You're a wizard.
You're the chief. You're the boss in the cockpit. But at the end of the day, these things are all made with at the end of the day, convenience in mind as well. They're not doing this to make your time fucking harder. No, they're doing this because it looks aesthetically better, and it's probably in the system that they have in mind easier to fucking use at the end of the day. You know.
I mean, with that, you bring up an interesting point in terms of Track IR and stuff, because it's going to be, from what we've seen on the videos, you're going to need to look around more for the buttons and everything else. Do you think it's going to be a necessity to have either like a Track IR or the face technology that they're bringing into the game? Do you think we're going to have to have it?
I think with a click of a mouse button, you know what I mean? And
hello?
I'm the owner of a Track
IR.
IR.
Who are you talking to?
To you.
Oh, okay.
I just don't want it to be having to touch a mouse for sure. I mean, if you give me Track IR, sure, the face rig. But when I fly a ship, especially fighter ships, I have my hands on two sticks. I'm leaned back. I'm in a cockpit position. There's no mouse anywhere near me. So if we can't keybind things or map them to a hat switch or something to actually use the interface, that would be a problem for me.
Would you prefer? Well, would you be happy if you had that face thing when it's finally implemented to be forced to kind of use that to look around, or would you still want your hotkeys?
I hope not, because I'm going to turn that thing.
I mean, for critical stuff, I would want hotkeys, especially for the heat of battle. The last thing you're going to be doing is wanting to look down at a panel.
Well, yeah.
Oh, hang on, I'll be right with you, Vandal.
Yeah,
and clicking on that's the last thing you'd want. But it doesn't mean for some systems it's not going to be necessary.
What do you think, Bock? Do you think you'd?
I agree with RedLir. Usually, when I look at, for instance, Elite Dangerous, offline, I play it with my Rift on. I can't see shit. I can't type blind. Can't find my mouse at all. So I do everything on my joystick and via voice commands, and that's basically it. So if we can do that in Star Citizen as well, I think just with hotkeys or whatever.
I think I kind of meant more, maybe like the information that's available then. So, for example, like Madness is moaning, key one for Manning, about the fact that they've taken some of the displays away, but then I think CIG's argument was if you look around, they're there.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to need to be able to say, not necessarily all the time or in the heat of battle, but if you want to see stuff, you want to look down, you're going to need to use either the mouse to do it with the new face thing, or whether you just use the face technology
to zoom
or
in
hat switches, as RedLir says. I think at the end of the day, what I hope, what my vision would be, what we hopefully see is that the fighting modules are more easily accessible than, for example, travel or unloading on your ship, you know what I mean, or transfer. Those things will be hidden away with more where you have the time to look around and to go into those things. But I think you still want easy to use for fighters, you know what I mean? It's what RedLir says. You don't want to be looking down and saying, oh, buddy, wait a minute, I'll be with you in a second, you know what I mean? Those things are hopefully still pretty accessible, maybe with one click of a mouse down or up or down, you know. If you click a hat switch down and you quickly can look down and up for certain stats of your ship, you know what I mean? Not everything has to be constantly in the square of your screen, hopefully, you know what I mean?
Wasn't there a choice between clicking all the stuff and just leave out the clicking? And
I
don't want to work off a complete checklist, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be quick buttons for that sort of thing. It was just, I suppose I was on more of a case of looking around.
Yeah.
is it okay to kind of hide displays because you can just look down at them if you use, like, because they're implementing this face tracking, is everything going to be based around them presuming that you're going to use that? Whereas now everything was kind of in front of your face because you're not looking around, you literally want the information there. But if they're implementing that, are they going to start thinking, well, we don't need all that blocking your view? Because some people don't. See, there's always arguments for everything. I like the Reliant view because it's just a nice, clear, open view. Whereas Madness is probably like the opposite. I want my screens in front of me. I want to see where everybody is and what everything's doing.
It's for different purposes as well. You know, we mentioned it a lot of times. Some people are not going to be a lot in these fighters. I don't see myself a lot when the game initially is going to release. I will not be in those fighters. I have a Saber now because it's something that I use for the dogfighting. But in the end of the day, I will be sitting in a transport ship. I do not care about maybe... Well, do not care is a big word. I think a lot less about targets than that. You know, I will have a guy in my Bano Merchantman that will be taking care of that, you know, and I will be commanding the ship at the end of the day. But
yeah,
I can see for people that do the dogfighting.
A question about like input type, right? Like if you're flying those ships and you're used to having joysticks and HOTAS or whatever you're using, and you're not a mouse user, you want some option on the joystick to actually interface with those. For those items, whether it's an analog hat switch, whatever they choose, like or track IR, you know, something you want, something other than mouse keyboard, because that's not.
There need to be more options for the peripherals that people use. You know what I mean? It's what you say, RedLir. If you're a dual stick user, you want something on those dual stick. You don't want to, in any way, shape, or form, you do not want to take both your hands or one of your hands off one of those sticks, because it's going to limit you in what you can do in the dogfight. So you want everything to be on those sticks at the end of the day. And I totally agree with you in that point. I can see that point of view. You need it for every single peripheral that someone is going to use. If that might be one stick HOTAS, if that's going to be dual stick, if that's going to be mouse and keyboard, it needs to be there for each single thing. And if that is in the form of a voice command, maybe. I'm not a big fan of the face tracker. You know, I've said it a lot of fucking times. I don't necessarily need, when I'm picking my nose and my character, to do the same on the screen. You know what I mean? So I will be turning that feature completely off if the possibility is there. You know, because I hate it. You know.
Man,
I like the face tracking movement wise. I don't like the face tracking.
You can turn it off.
Is that the right way of saying it?
I will be constantly belly flapping all the time. Love it.
I think when it says face, I don't think it's going to recognise the belly flap.
I don't know, man. I will just position.
Are you going to draw an eyes on? You're going to draw a face on your belly, so that when you
make sure you turn that off when you stop screaming, Buck, because I know you have to scream. You dirty bastard! I know what kind of movies those were where you needed that codex for.
You got me.
Mate, DivX is all you need, man.
DivX.
So, one of the other things in here is we've gone back a little bit to the lighting side of things, but they're just showing you, I think, really the lighting inside the Reclaimer. Again, it just goes back to.
What I'm happy about is that we've not seen different types of rocks lately.
Well, that's going to be the next thing that was going on too. But
yes, but it's a lot less than we had. You know what I mean? I think we had a couple of weeks where it was all about rocks.
If you want to go
I almost created a rock fetish.
We've got this up instead. There you go. If you want to go on to the rock one. So this is the Tundra that they showed on the monthly report. What do you guys think of that?
I'm still seeing a hallway.
We're waiting for the next picture to appear.
Get in there.
There it is. There it is.
Wow, that's cool.
I like that.
I feel like I'm in The Witcher right there.
Yeah.
I think, and so this is the point so we're kind of saying it's nice now to finally see some of this stuff being implemented or working on.
Exactly.
We knew it was coming. I mean, that's why when Madness goes off on one of his rants, you feel like giving him a slap, because you've got to pick up the basics before you start going on to this. But I think I'm really looking forward to seeing some planets with this sort of stuff on. I still would like to see a really heavy sort of forestry jungle type one.
We will, Miz, you know, but it's what you say. It's a very good point. You want to get the basics right first, and then you can branch out into all these things, you know, woodland, forest, desert, etc. Desert being the easiest, you know, let's be honest, you know, or you don't need as much vegetation, let's say it that way. There will still be a lot of effects that you need in the desert. But I think for them, tackling the desert first was a great one, you know, because it's very close to barren and that sort of things. And then focus on animations of trees, plants, that sort of stuff at the end of the day. I think it looks amazing. I'm fucking sure we'll see more of this stuff, At the end of the day, we see freaking rainforests with orangutans or space whales or whatever the flying fuck we will see in this thing. You know what I mean? It will come eventually at the end of the day. It will be there, you know what I mean?
It will be eventually, yeah.
Yeah. And this is a nice start,
I think
they will branch this out in bigger things.
Yeah, I do think it's the basics, isn't it? Like you said, it's the rocks and everything else. That's why they started on that, because you don't just jump in at the deep end with so much like fauna and everything. But the problem also is that takes up bandwidth and everything else, and they need to make sure they got the technology so that that's not taking up so much memory when you try and land on planets. And
I've said it so many times as well. Good things will come at the end because they have learned from all their previous mistakes. That's why I don't mind that the Bano Merchantman will be made somewhere, and it's probably not going to happen in the beginning of 2018. I'd rather see the ships in the end will have better results, and the other ones will be brought up to spec with that anyway at the end of the day. So it's better to wait with all these things till the technology is better or easier to use or uses less memory or CPU power or GPU power, you know what I mean? To bring these things in. What's the whole point of having freaking trees on the planet now at the moment, We'll have as much fun with a freaking barren planet with a fucking couple of rocks on it at the end of the day.
Exactly. I totally agree. Oh, I just forgot there was another screenshot of it as well. So this is a little bit more, there's even more plants. So I think they did also say they were working on trying to do kind of procedural trees and things like that, didn't they, as well? So that we're going to get it filled up a lot quicker that way. But it's also important to make sure that it looks quite different.
Because the space wieners, the space cactuses.
Yeah, cacti and knotwilligen.
I don't know how these things are called in English, but
I don't know. Let's search knotwilg.
The trees with the little sticky bits on top of it.
Trees. I don't know.
It is a special sort of tree.
Pollard willow. You should know, miss. You're a gardener. You're a gardener.
I'm planting that sort of shit.
Pollard willows. No, you don't plant a knotwilg in a couple of seconds, but it's a pollard willow.
Right. I'm glad
he's a different sort of gardener, Buck.
Yeah. Other green plants.
He's not from the Netherlands, though.
That's what you're getting on your ships. So another thing was that in the, I don't know if this was in the monthly report, but the new launcher. There's not really much to say about it. It looks nice. The thing mainly is the Delta patcher, I suppose, that's coming with it, which I think we're all looking forward to. Which is, I think this is what's going to be the thing that will change a lot of these problems where we're having the small bugs. And especially in the PTU waves, I think this is what will help speed up the PTU waves, actually, by having a Delta patcher, because they can, if you're getting a lot of complaints of people that can't do a certain thing, it will be able to be patched. You know
what I enjoy seeing at the moment?
It lets them be more agile with the patching, too, and save the money. I mean, not having people download, 40 gigs a pop just to get one fix, and them holding off one fix because they don't want, how many thousands of people downloading 40 gigs for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I enjoy? You know what I enjoy seeing, guys? That there's a lot more accessibility for new players. Things are a lot easier to use, becoming a lot easier to use, a lot more. The overview is better. You know what I mean? You have a launcher now where people can click on things to go to a website. That's what I really like. I really like that, because I know when I started playing a couple of years back, when I started buying in, I was like, where the fuck do I find things? And it is still. They're slowly changing website, and it's good to see these things, because it makes things a lot more accessible for newer players or for less experienced players. It's really good. I really love it. I don't know how you guys feel that. The website is still a big hurdle, though, and I know they're working on it.
We know they're working on it. We haven't seen any real pictures of the update. Well, there was one, actually, I think. Of the,
the ship stats pages, I think they're going to get updated.
Yeah, if I can find out where it was put.
What does Asnok say? The reason for creating flora and fauna would be to figure out how much it will tax the engine. Yeah, that's true, Asnok. I see what you mean.
Okay, Starburger, you're right, man. It's a baobab tree.
A baobab.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We're learning new things here, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I can't find where he put it now. He did put it somewhere. But yeah, so there's definitely some work on it, and we have been shown a tiny bit of... They've updated the ship stats and things like that to so that we can see a little bit how they're going to introduce that part. But it's not just that. I think it's the overall experience that needs to be kind of changed. Like, we know that they're doing it in-game with the hint system, but it kind of needs to be a little bit more streamlined on the website just to introduce you to the game a little bit more when you go onto the main website, I think. And so it's not all just where the hell do I even click? I mean, there's like 20 different menus all leading to random different pages and things. It needs to be a... So I know on like YouTube, if you like subscribe to somebody, you have a different view of their channel compared to someone that you're not subscribed to. So I don't know, it would be nice if they had something like that. So if you're not logged into Star Citizen, you see a more new user introduction. And then when you log in, it'll change it to a little bit more like what we got now, so you can find out about it, I think.
That would be good, you know, a bit more
I found it.
user specific.
Yeah.
You found it?
There we go. So that's part of the new stats detail for the different things. So I'll show you breaking it up. I thought that looked a lot cleaner, a little bit more. It should be reasonably easy to understand.
Yep.
I mean, you've got the key in the corner that tells you what the little V's and everything else stands for, but I think it's nice and clear. I mean, this is something I don't know how much you guys look at this sort of thing at the moment. But
I mean, nobody looks at the stats pages now because nobody can trust them. Rightly so, right? Everybody knows it's kind of been a running joke. I mean, it's not so much either what it looks like that looks really good, but it's also the information and where it's getting pulled from. Like, they're updating that, so the actual information will be correct. That's more the issue at this point. Is the information on the stats pages is just so wrong.
Yeah, for the ships itself. I think they say something so they can update it. They'll make sure that they update it every time they implement a change to the ship rather than it just being wrong for ages.
It's what RedLir says, you know, when I bought my ship in the first place, Miss, did I fucking know what a power plant version 5 was going to be? For all I know, it could be a balloon with fucking orange glitter coming out of it.
Dangly bits hanging off.
Yeah, dangly bits. There was no definition of what each part was going to be anyway. So the only thing you could rely on was a number in between 1 and 7 or 1 and 8 or 1 and 5 or whatever, you know. So there was no really point of, this ship has a power plant number 5. Well, what the hell is a power plant number 5 going to be?
And even then, it might actually be a power plant number like 4. Like, it could be the wrong power plant listed there. You don't know.
Exactly.
That's the thing. You can't believe them.
The
stats pages are great, and it's great that they're finally updating them.
It would have been easier to rip that off of the site for now, because some people do look at it and go, "Oh, it's supposed to have this and it's supposed to have that," and it's like, it would have been easier to not.
The best way to buy a ship in between 2012 and up to now, guys, has been visual, you know, because the rest of it did not make any sense anyway and could change from today or tomorrow, you know what I mean? So the way I bought my ships is all been visual, you know, or the type of ship, you know, transport, fighting.
Buy something based on the role if that's what you're interested in.
Exactly.
Other than that, just...
That's exactly how I've bought my ships. Like I said, I've not looked at these stat pages at all, and to me, it's just go by what the role is, go by what the concept tells you the role is meant to be, and then obviously and then look, I suppose, is what the other thing you got. So if there's more 3 scouts or 3 news vans, you go for the one that they should technically do roughly the same, and then you go for the one that you prefer the look of. Until hopefully when we do get this, I mean, even the stats when we do get these new ones implemented and they do get updated, they're still going to be wrong. They're still going to get tweaked and changed all the time, you know, because they're still because of balancing and stuff.
Well, at least they'll be correct.
They'll be correct, but they'll get changed. So is it correct if it gets changed?
Yeah.
Well, as long as it gets updated, but yeah, it'll technically be correct for the time it was posted.
What I think is important that the ship still will be doing what you think it's going to do. If it's going to be transport, if it's going to be 138 units or 134 units, I do not give a flying fuck at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It needs to do what you bought the ship for it to do. And you know that all the other stats can change and will change. And especially if you buy a ship on freaking concept sale, you do not know what it's going to be. You know,
card to all, anybody?
Card to wall. Bano Merchantman is the same thing, RedLir. You know, I mentioned it because it's the ship that I have, but it's become a lot bigger than I expected. But it could be the other way around as well. It could become a lot smaller than you expected. But as long as it keeps doing what you think is going to do. The role, I think the role specificness is, I think, important, For the rest of it, I don't care. As long as it's a trading transport ship, I'm happy. The way it looks, whatever. If it's roughly what I've seen in the concept sale, I'm happy. I'm not a, I don't know how you call this in English. Buck, help me out. A mierenneuker. What do you call it? A nitpicker. I'm not a nitpicker. You know what I mean? I'm not a...
An antfucker. That's the literal explanation of mierenneuker.
Yeah, it's just like a Dutch saying.
Forget it.
What an educational show. I had no idea when I showed up. I learned all kinds of things today.
But I don't care at the end of the day about the specifics. If it's going to have a gun that is bigger or smaller or whatever, as long as it keeps... We can trust that it will all be balanced out anyway, even if it will change. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I can't get over the antfucker thing. I'm listening, but it's just like... I've heard a nitpicker. We're just both
you've got similar
t-shirts made.
It's the Dutch way of saying nitpicker, basically, an antfucker. It's really translated. It is antfucker, but
you've got English sayings and things that doesn't make any sense for us, like the bee's knees.
Yeah,
do bees have knees at all? I don't know, man.
We have a saying it's the last one I will be mentioning. So we have a saying in the Netherlands, and the UK people seem to love it when I used to say it at work. It's if you like something really much that you drink or eat, it's like an angel pissing on your tongue. It's really translated. Yeah. And people start to laugh when I say it, but that's something that we say. So if you're eating something that you really enjoy and you say, oh, it's like an angel pissing on my tongue, basically, in Dutch then, but it's really translated. Mrs. like
all right.
Wow.
True.
All right.
Wow. That's, yeah.
You got this one, right? It's like better one bird in the hand than 10 in the air.
Yeah, I gotta get that one. But
these are a couple of the strange ones we had.
You get smarter out of this podcast than you before you got in.
I mean, we learnt the tropical surprise, which apparently that's a Dutch thing as well.
I didn't know that.
I think it might just be a soul thing, to be honest. Okay, on that wonderful note. So on the burn down, there's not really much to say on it, really. They're talking about bugs that needed to be fixed. What, you want to go on it? Go on in.
No, I don't want to go on it. It's something that Mac mentioned, I think, on the captain's table, not this week, but last week. I don't care about these damn bugs, I don't care about these go no go meetings, that sort of things. I'm more, it's maybe something personal. When I read a book, I'm normally the guy that looks at the pictures, you know what I mean, in the magazine, and then the picture decides if I'm going to read the text or not. But I don't know. I'd rather see things visually, but we've seen so much, and I think they're so focused on 3.0, which is a great thing, that it's harder for them to bring the content that they used to do in the ATVs before, you know what I mean, where they're constantly interviewing people, showing us a lot of things. There's not a lot to show at this moment because people are fucking busy doing other stuff, you know what I mean, which is fair enough.
And maybe they want to leave some new bits
definitely
behind to get
it makes
really
it harder for us
about.
content creators, though, Buck, in the sense of covering an ATV. I have a lot harder time making videos of an ATV at the moment, because the first half an hour, 45 minutes, I think it's 20 minutes this time, it's not a lot I can put in, you know what I mean? It's just
no, I agree.
30 minutes, I think, about the
it was rather long now, but I can understand. But for instance, now they had those turrets explain what they did and how to resolve certain things
next year. But
I think I was happy with that.
For the burn down, I don't think it was a bad thing, and people are definitely interested in it. But when they kind of introduced it, because I think a lot of people were waiting, like we're all desperate, and we all thought the 3.0 was coming out, I think, like back in June. I don't know, we missed wires or whatever you want to call miscommunication, but people thought it was a lot closer than it was. And then they decided to put the burn down. Now, I thought when they said that there was, like, say, 10 blockers, that they would focus on saying, well, these are what is blocking it, and showing off those. It didn't need to make such a big thing. So when we were down to, say, one blocker, I would have thought they would be like, well, this is the blocker that we've got, and then demonstrate the blocker that's stopping it going to Evocati. Whereas they don't seem to be doing that. They seem to be just picking on the random bugs that they've got and just showing them off.
Can we start donating for a starter pack for the loser kid so he can play a fucking Star Citizen? I think he needs it. He needs his fix.
Yeah,
We need to hook him up.
he's jonesing.
We need to hook him up.
When 3.0
yes.
hits, you'll probably be able to get starter kits on just about every single person's stream. There'll be so many giveaways going out.
Definitely. RedLir will be giving a couple away, probably.
Nope. Not on my stream. We don't do giveaways on my stream.
It's a good way of doing it. I'm not a big giveaway thingy, but there's enough streams where you can get these giveaways.
There's
Let's
enough.
keep it
There will be enough. Not mine so much, but...
You know?
Right, so anyway, that was Burn Down. I think there was basically all you need to know about Burn Down is boom, there's no more blockers.
Listen, RedLir, you're giving
It's only
something away
Evocati.
on your stream. You're giving something away on your stream. A lot of love and a sexy, beautiful man.
A lot of love, that's right.
Exactly. Wow. What else do people want?
Free hugs and kisses.
Free hugs and kisses and giraffes.
That's why Loser Kid watches.
He needs the hugs and kisses. Okay, so
Campbell.
yeah, the main part of the ATV was the turrets. So there's not a lot to
Interesting.
show. We'll show some pictures from it, but obviously it's just people using turrets. But it was more interesting about what they were saying
Turrets.
about the turrets and stuff.
As long as at some point I can use them without feeling like I'm going to throw up, I'll be happy.
Exactly. As long as you can use them and you don't hit your own ship. Perfect. That's all that I wanted to know, basically.
Sorry, Bob, I blew us up again.
I think I did it with Madness not long ago, a couple of weeks back, and I jumped into the back of his ship, and I had no clue what the hell was going on there. You know, it was being in the washing machine, and I think the way the way they're doing things here is making that a lot more fucking fun at the end of the day, because the coordination in between pilot and the one in the back is the worst things ever. And if you had a couple of glasses of rum, it gets even freaking worse. You know what I mean? I think, and I don't know how you guys seen it. I think it's something more towards what I love to see in the use of turrets, and it's going to make them useful as well, instead of what I think there are at the moment, more aesthetics, if the communication is not right in between pilot and gunner. You know,
I think it's a huge part of the multi-crew gameplay, really. I don't know what are you planning on?
I hope so.
Multi-crew, if they work well, would you consider like a turreter as a job?
Well, Bano is going to be a multiple cruise ship anyway. You know what I mean? So I will be probably sitting in the chair and shouting stuff and chilling, and the other people can work from it. That's what I love to see. You know what I mean? I will be running around the ship, probably repairing. I like to do that sort of things, you know. If we're under fire, I'll put my second in command in the commander seat, and I'll start running around and repairing stuff and making sure that everything runs. You know, that's the things that I like to do. You know,
I'm running around scared like shit.
Just oh my god, it's on fire! It's on fire! Help!
Well, a good example is drones. He wants to become a medic. You know, you'll see him in a medic bay, and other people will be flying his ships in the end of the day. So I think it's a cool. I like the.
Wait, we're talking about the guy with the grenades?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, carry on. Just want to clarify.
Yeah.
Haven't you played those games with healing grenades?
He throws healing grenades at people.
That's
No, but
nice,
he's really big into the medic thing, RedLir. You know, he loves the idea of being a field medic or a medic on a ship or something like that. And I think at the moment, obviously, the game does not lend itself for those types of gameplay, you know, unless you freaking role play it at the end of the day. But when all these things come in, I like that diversity. People will be specialized in gunners, or people will be specialized in engineer or medic or whatever. And I think it's really cool, you know. It brings that trust factor in as well, which is a big thing, I think, you know. Can I trust someone on my ship? Can I, you know, it brings all those things that I think make an MMO exciting, you know. Look at Eve, where you never know if someone will stab you in the back the next second or not.
Like Sergeant Gamble.
Like,
I played Hellion once with Sergeant Gamble.
oh my God.
I got into his ship. I turned around to fix the engine. Shot me in the back.
I
remember
Not
that.
bitter about it.
I think I was
Want me to
watching
get that off my
episode.
chest again. Feel better now.
So that's a lesson for everybody out there. Don't trust Sergeant Gamble.
Not every Dutch person is like that.
No,
He's a Dutch
most.
Canadian. He's not Dutch.
Yeah, only the Dutch Canadian ones.
Lies. He says
Lies.
lie.
Yeah. Someone that would stab you in the back would say that, though, wouldn't they?
I've watched was it last week or the week before? Saw Gams fly Elite Dangerous in VR for the first time. So funny.
You gotta love games in VR.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Elite Dangerous, but I've never used VR. So I can imagine it's a different experience.
It's
for
the
sure.
best experience ever.
I get sick in those things. I cannot do it.
Well, when you mentioned sitting around in your turret shooting stuff while the pilot is maneuvering differently, yeah, I can imagine that with VR, and then me barfing on my monitor. And
Yeah. This thing is good because I can still look at my screen. So I don't like the fact that I'm contained in this little box and I cannot even see around. I still need that free idea. But I'm very bad in small spaces as well. You know, I don't know how you call it in English. An elevator. I couldn't get in an elevator, for example. So VR for me is immediately that oppressing feeling of having this. I can't deal with it. So I hope they.
Have you tried it?
Yeah. I've tried it. It's
okay.
not my thing. It's not my thing.
Okay.
You know.
I wanted to say you really don't notice it anymore after a couple of minutes.
Maybe it was the first iteration of
up on
Oculus Rift that I tried, probably. So maybe things have changed over time now. But
I don't know.
I loved watching Gamble when he was doing the Star Trek Bridge. I love it, man.
Quite random ones out there. I mean, I haven't tried VR yet. I definitely want to give that a go at some point when it becomes affordable. At the moment, it's just ridiculously priced. So
it is.
Only you rich fuckers can have it.
It's very bulky too, you know. It's you just like toss on a pair of glasses and that's the experience. I'll probably buy into it just to check it out. But now, like these big friggin' things on your face, it's pretty rough.
Yeah. What, you both own one, yeah?
I don't own one.
Buck, so do you see it as a future of gaming, Buck? Or do you think it's just a gadget?
Not for every game, no, but for simulations like flying and stuff, it's absolutely amazing. First-person shooters, I don't know.
I see a lot of people on the iRacing use it as well. And
racing is.
I'm still the guy sitting in my seat with my 37-inch TV in front of me. I like that more, you know, because I still have the freedom of having everything around me instead of being in that confined space of that game.
No, but that's the whole point. If you got this headset on your face, you are actually in there. You're not staring at your screen 2D. It's virtual reality. You're actually in there.
I have a very creative mind. I am still in there, buddy. Don't worry about it.
No, but it will give you a so much better experience with virtual reality. But yeah, that's different for everyone.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, nothing to do with turrets, but still, that was a nice little tangent.
Sorry.
That's what we do in the Addicted podcast, you know?
No, it's fine.
Maybe you fly the turrets with VR. You know?
Yeah, I mean, well, they've got the face tech thing that's coming in, so I suppose if you eventually got the VR, you could maybe look around with the turrets using it.
I could see Buck sitting at home and basically giving a swing to his chair with this VR on in that turret. And you can see a turret like spinning around all the time and it's Buck on his chair.
It's like you've got a wireless one, otherwise you just got the cable around your neck.
I probably won't stream anymore with virtual reality. It's too much of a hassle, at least with the Oculus Rift it is. For the Vive, you have a good tool to read your Twitch chat. For the Oculus Rift, no.
Okay. Yeah. Is it that it's just not got an app for it, or?
There is an app for it, but you have to consider that you have this output window which you have to capture for your stream, and it's not always full screen. So I can't use my streaming PC for that, so I have to run OBS or whatever locally on my gaming.
You can't use that one anyway now, can you?
Sorry?
You can't use that one anyway now, can you?
No, it's operational.
Oh, it's fixed now, yeah.
Yeah, but so I have to run it locally on my gaming PC. But then I noticed last week when streaming Elite, I had this application open that will give me my Twitch chat inside my headset. And running that locally, it was such a performance hog. It was unbearable. It began to stutter, and then it went well, and then after 5 minutes, it began to stutter again. That's not doable. Makes you sick as fuck. And it's not enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it still needs a few more iterations, I think, doesn't it?
Absolutely. But offline, I will play Elite only with VR.
Really? It changes that much.
It's massive. I still know exactly the feeling I got when I first got into my little Sidewinder. I was like, whoa, shit. This thing is huge, while staring at your monitor, it's just a tiny thing, you know?
Yeah.
I look behind me, I can see a door, and the door isn't even visible when you're looking at your monitor, even with Track IR.
With Track
You
IR,
have this depth. The screens for your comms and for your other panels, they are floating. They're just there, sitting there for you. And behind that is other stuff. It's completely different experience.
Hopefully they'll perfect it in the future.
Do you think that will transfer across to Star Citizen?
Maybe they will, but it's I don't know. I don't know how it will work out because it's such a complex game. I don't know how it will work out with Elite Dangerous when they have space legs.
Yeah, I was going to say, but when you're just sitting there in the cockpit and you are the ship, it's a little bit easier to implement, isn't it? Once you start having to do all the moving around. Yeah, if you've got a static position,
it's fine. If you're going to start walking, looking around and moving at the same time, it can be different.
It's for an MMO, I think, Buck, where you, and RedLir mentioned it before, and I can see where you are sitting in a flyer and you're using your dual stick or HOTAS.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to do a planetary landing, and you will have to switch to your mouse and keyboard. Do you want, I would say, the better experience for that? I don't think you want to run around the planet with your joysticks.
No, absolutely not.
So how are you going to implement that? That's always the aspect of an MMO like this, where you have vehicular and thing. I notice it when I play GTA Online, where I use my Xbox controller to drive, and then as soon as I jump out of the car, grab this. It is a freaking hell. You know what I mean? It's really freaking annoying, and so I would love to see how they. And they had an example of that, Buck. Remember that? And we haven't seen it in ages. That keyboard with the HOTAS integrated into it.
That's the Star Citizen, what you mean?
I think that's gone.
Yeah, that's out the window.
Say goodbye to that.
Yeah, that was Cytec, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That would have been a great idea, though, because you wouldn't have to go very far to go to your keyboard. But now, with the special setups that everyone has, with the gaming chairs and...
depends what your setup is. I mean, so... Even before I had my mounts and stuff, I had dual joysticks on the desk in front of me. I had a keyboard in between them and a mouse to the right of the right joystick, and I could easily transfer. Now I sit back in a chair with mounts. When I sit back, I'm on the sticks and the pedals. If I come back forward, I'm right on the keyboard and mouse. So it's
nice.
Totally accessible, right? It just depends on how you set it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess my point going to the input controls we're talking about for the panels, I don't want to be in the flight position worrying about having to deal with panels and scrambling with a mouse back to the sticks.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, like once you're on the ground and you're in FPS mode, I definitely want to be on the keyboard and mouse versus sticks. But it's a full switch over at that point.
I got you.
Sergeant Campbell's even een stukje kaas pakken.
Oh, he's getting some cheese, yeah? What kind of cheese you're getting, Gamble? Is it like Gouda? Is it like Edam? A bit of cheddar? Some French cheese?
Just got list them all. Blue cheese.
Brie.
Oh, blue
camembert.
Cheese.
Nice bit of camembert.
In the oven. I like a bit of camembert. I like the Port Salut, the soft with the yellows. Oh man, like an angel pissing on your tongue.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Two angels.
Two angels. Right. Okay. So back to the turret sort of thing. So some of the things they changing was converting it over to this whole 2.0 system as well, so that it would generate heat and use that have its own sort of integral system as well, which should help make it feel a bit better. Because I think that's some of the issues. Well, I don't know. It's going to make it if it overheats and stuff, but as long as it separates it from the main guns. Started shooting their turret, and then the captain can't shoot the main guns of the ship. Wouldn't be quite.
I like the fact that they did that they now let you choose in between fire rates. That's something that I think.
So Aznog's been going on about that, yeah. So you can, instead of having it all fire at once, you can do the alternate fire.
The alternate fires. That's something that I really like. You know what I mean? Because in certain fights, you might need the how do you call it? the same fire rates, but in some fights it might be good to use the off and on one. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be a big how do you call it, a tactical thing when you're going to use this or when you're not going to use this. I think it's really cool. You know, it brings a bit more gameplay to just sitting in a turret. You have to start making decisions in the turret as well on how the outcome of the fight could end up. You know.
So it's like it spreads your fire more, isn't it? So
spreads your fire more. It becomes a bit of a shotgun in space, basically, than a single point of fire. It will have two separate ones. I like it. I like this whole turret thing, by the way. I don't know how you guys feel about it, and the way they are trying to work towards the idea that they have now, where they're working towards. I love it. I think it's really good. You know, it brings a lot more. It brings an interest of people getting into the turret in the first place. You know, instead of now where you say, "I'm not getting into that fucking turret." You know what I mean?
Everybody's flying a solo Connie around, locking missiles.
Send it. And the retaliators, you know, the torpedo boats are a big thing now. First target on my list when I see them.
But I mean, like you get if you're in a Hornet, for example. I mean, I know nothing's balanced, but it's like you roll up on a Connie right now. It's like they never have any turrets going, right? I mean, if they did, they could probably take you out pretty quick if they had good gunners. But
at the moment, the big ships are
a big capital ship apart, you know.
You just pick it to pieces because especially with the maneuverable ships, the Hornet that you said, the Sabres, the Gladiuses, you make sure you stay behind them and wiggle behind them, and they're gone in a question of minutes, you know. And I hope that they're going to make it more sturdy, you know what I mean? More.
For me, I think it needs to work well enough that it's going to be better than having AI, because they keep saying obviously you shooting is going to be better than AI shooting, but overall, in most games, if you have like an automatic turret or something like that, it's going to do more damage and perform better than someone else sitting there doing it.
I think there needs to be a factor of accidents happen with an automatic one as well. You know, a computer can miscalculate. If you can put that in and balance it out right, you know what I mean? I think that is a cool aspect where you say, oh, this turret you can't use for 20 seconds because the firmware of the turret is resetting. If they implement such sort of a system where there is a factor of failure in it, you know what I mean? That's good. Because there will be times that you cannot man your ship with 4 or 5 people. You know, let's be honest. You know, in the weekends you might be, but if you play in complete different hours than your mates, you want sometimes something that is a bit automatic as well. And then you put a failure in. You know, put a failure in where it's not OP. You know, where you don't create a meta where everyone's using the automatic turrets because it will be better. You know.
I think basically having AI, well, they did say there's going to be different levels of AI. So you've got ones with different skill sets and whether they'll be better and hitting more. But it still depends on, I mean, like at the moment, how the pirates, if you go and fly and do all the missions now, the pirates seem to hit you pretty easily most of the time.
The pirates are aimbots.
Yeah.
The pirates are aimbots.
That's what I'm saying. If you've got turrets that are doing that, then I wouldn't want to put a human person in there.
They don't really have any failure calculated in there, you know what I mean? That's what I mean. There is no human aspect calculated in there. It's just aimbot.
But so the other thing they were saying was that they changed the whole gimbal section on it as well, which should help, so that it spins differently to the ship, so it should help you aim onto the target for a lot longer as well, I think.
You know, I thought about it. Yeah, how are you going to make it easier for a pilot and I've thought about it this afternoon when I woke up. How are you going to make it easier for a pilot and a turret gunner to interact with each other without communicating? Would there be a way to put something in there that would make it easier for a pilot to know where the turret gunner is aiming at and the turret gunner to know where the pilot is going to fly at? You see what I mean? How are you going to...
Yeah, it's going to be difficult.
There's ways of
that requires a lot of communicating to get that right at the moment.
Yeah.
I suppose you could have something on like your HUD, like, you know, like sometimes when in game, like FPS games, when you're getting hit from either side, it will highlight what side you're getting hit from. The potential way of having some sort of like mini arrow that would show you the direction of the ship's sort of travelling, I suppose. But one of the things they did say that in the ATV that will help a bit for certain things is there will be some form of communication between the pilot and the gunners in terms of being able to pin targets. They'll allow you to set different gunners to shoot different targets, or tell all your turrets to shoot at one and focus fire on a target as well. But that's another thing that's going to be complicated, is the communication between a person and getting them to shoot something and getting the AI to shoot something. The AI is going to be able to, you're going to be able to communicate it a lot quicker and easier to an AI than you are a turret.
Yeah, and CIG Sherman's mentioning, there's going to be a difference between hiring actual like NPC crew, which essentially is AI, and like actual just a remote control like AI modules. So there'll actually be a difference between those two as well.
Yeah,
like robotized stuff.
I'm
still thinking about an old game. Like, do anyone of you guys still know the old games like B-17 Flying Fortress? Like the old Second World War bombers?
No.
Where you could play the pilot, the sight gunner, the tail gunner. Same thing, only those ships are really quite stationary. They flew straight ahead, while we in space strafe, and it's got to be so much different and harder.
The harder the balance as well is the difference between, say, a turret in the Hornet compared to a turret in a big capital ship, which probably will turn and move a lot slower. Yeah. So that's going to be a lot easier to try and get a balance so that it feels right in that turret as well as in a turret on a Hornet. It's definitely going to be difficult, and I think that's one of the things they said on there as well, that it's a lot of trial and error. It's going to be something that we're going to probably keep getting a build of it, test it, see how we feel with it. It's just hoping that you can get to a point where it will actually function as as a useful tool, because otherwise it's going to make these positions in multi-crew ships kind of null and void, really.
It could be. It might be a specialty job as well. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, where you have people that are in the turrets you don't want to make it too easy. Where you can say, okay, someone can make a job out of it and earn a good money out of it because it's a specialty job. At the end of the day, I'm getting these crazy requests, but we'll skip over that.
Requests for what? You're getting people want a bit of tropical surprise, do they?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it from a certain sergeant?
Yes.
and talking about modules, turret modules to do it automatically, I'm thinking about, and I don't know if every country does have them, but the Dutch marine ships, they have what they're calling a goalkeeper. And the goalkeeper is a large killing gun which can intercept rockets fired at the ship or whatever.
Oh, I know which one you mean.
And it's fast. Really
it is
fast.
Really fast. But it is computerized, right? It's that thing that basically...
Yeah, but we're talking about modules.
Fast, pow, pow, pow. It moves like crazy as well.
Yeah, but because CIG Sherman said, well, you have your crew, but also AI modules. That's basically the difference, and maybe comparable. I don't know. Yeah,
it's hard to balance in a game though, Buck. You know what I mean? Because you don't want it to become what I said earlier, meta, where everyone uses it just because it's the best thing. You know what I mean? And you take that whole reason to play together away. I think they're trying to push us in a way where they promote gameplay with multiple people. You know what I mean? They do it in a lot of games. Stupid example, Tree of Life, what I play. You cannot learn all the things that you can do in the game, but multiple people could, so they force you to play with multiple people, so each can learn a certain skill, and you can use that. And I think it's a good way of bringing people together. It gives a reason to not be a loner. It gives a reason to be in an organization or a gameplay together. Although I'm a bit of a loner when it comes to things. I like to chill on my ship and just hang about without constantly people nagging in my ear, you know what I mean? But when it's needed, you can always bring the people on and go work together and kick them out again as soon as you finish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think one of the big sort of questions I've seen people mention before about the whole turret system is the benefits of having the turret over why have a turret rather than people in smaller ships escorting with you. So because
you could do that, you could still fly a big ship alone.
But the big ship, you don't need the big
I could
ship.
see that point, right? If you only have 4 buddies or whatever, and you're going to fly Would it be more effective to have them in like Super Hornets or whatever?
It's
Unless it becomes a range issue, though. Who knows?
Yeah. It's like so for like a constellation, if the crew that are say taking co-pilot and something else were doing shields and stuff, and then they wasn't needed and they got out into get into the gun, I could understand that. But if you've got people doing the shields and something else, and you've literally just got someone on your ship for just a gunner, then the argument is, well, why have them on your ship as just a gunner? Have them flying a smaller ship to protect you instead.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a tough one. You will have people that don't want to be crew, that want to be flying alone in a little fighter jet. You know, it's tough.
But I mean, at the same time, if it's something like an Aquila and you're on an exploration mission, you know, the fighter may not have the range to follow you. So
true.
Definitely, that's where the deployable fighter starts playing a bigger role, I guess. You know what I mean? That's where the deployable Merlin for short range battles will become a nice feature. You know. Or deployable ships,
which I guess essentially is to that point, right? Of it, you could just take one of the crew and toss them in the Merlin to help protect the ship versus having them in the
for a constellation. But if you got others like say the Starfarer that doesn't have it or something like that,
right? Yeah.
I mean, I prefer to have a crew on board and that would be using the gun turrets and stuff like that anyway. But I suppose I can see their point, but there's going to be drawbacks for having these smaller ships, like you said, about how far they can travel, maybe the fuel that they've got.
And you know what? Maybe your buddy Soul.Create can't fly. You know, maybe he's all right in a turret. Maybe he can't fly a ship where, you know, and that's okay. But you never know. You know?
Thank you, Miller. Thank you. Something that I
watched his stream as well, have you?
Not smart. No, he's better at racing on the ground, you know.
I can't speak. Mine's terrible.
It's something that I'm always interested in. How would you guys love to see the commander's position in a ship, the captain's position? It's a question that someone asked me the other day. How would you love to see the commander's position in a ship with it not being boring, you know what I mean? And I said to him, what I love to see is a overview of all the stations in the ship, so I can see a small overview of what the shield guy is doing. I want to see a small overview of what the turrets guys are doing, what their status is. I want to see the status of the ship, so I can say, hey, Buck sitting on the shield, put the shield more forward. Hey, turret guy, make sure you repair the inside or get the hell out of there and put someone else in because you're not performing. That's what I love to see in a commander's position. I don't know how you guys...
I think that's actually quite an interesting question because there's that's almost like Star Trek style of fly, isn't it? The captain just sits in his chair and then orders the other people to do. And the staff, I don't know what other ships are, but the Starfarer's got that, so the captain's chair is back from the main HUD and the controls. Would you enjoy that? I mean... Surely, if someone's on shields, they should be good enough to know how to control the shields without you as.
But that's a good point, Jan. That's what I mentioned. That person said exactly the same thing, Miss. And then I said to him, "Why would you have a manager in an office then? Because all the other ones should be able to do their jobs." At the end of the day, they are.
Someone's got to make the decisions, right?
Someone needs to make
because you're flying or doing the shields and stuff doesn't mean you're in charge of what's going down at a higher level.
Exactly, and what I would love to see such a thing, and I could be saying, and a good example is drones again. Drones could say, second in command, you go sit in that seat. I'm going to walk around the ship, or I'm going to the med bay, or I'm going here and I'm going there, and I will give you, I will hit you up when I need something in the command room, you know, or I want to do something, or I would love to see such a thing, and that will bring hierarchy into an org or into a team as well. And responsibilities. I would love to see such a thing. I think a game like Star Citizen really suits itself for these sorts of gameplay where you have hierarchy, organizations, roles, you know.
So you think there'd be enough to do as a captain to enjoy that?
Yeah, you know, I would love it. You know, people, we're all people at the end of the day. We make mistakes. Someone on the shield could make a mistake. I could make a mistake. Someone on the shields could be telling me, "Hey, Saul, what the fuck are you doing there? We should do it this way." And I could take his input, or I could tell him to fuck off.
I'm the fucking captain. Do it.
No, but it brings a whole different tactical aspect again, which I really love in these sort of things. You know, I'm a big fan of the mill sims and that sort of stuff, the slower gameplay where you have to make decisions, where decisions make a big difference as well. You know, one decision could make or break a attack or a defense or whatever you're doing at that point.
I think the thing is that, well, I suppose the combat stands at the moment. The time you take to make a decision, your ship's probably blown up anyway.
But that's at this moment.
Yeah,
that's at this moment. We've heard so many times, and I think Sherman said it in the past as well. They want slower gameplay. They don't want that fast-paced shooter type of. And Chris has mentioned it since he started the game. You know, he's always been more of the more laid-back MMO guy instead of the fast FPS-paced gameplay. You know, that's what always pulled me into the game. You know, I have it slower. I have it more versatile.
But you're not gonna find that kind of gameplay with the random people you will meet in the game.
No, that's why you need a group of people that think that. Exactly, you need a group of like-minded people. There will be people like Madness, and it's not a bad thing.
It's gonna be hard, even if
that just want to fight. You know, that just want to fly around and shoot shit. Those people. But luckily, I think the game will lend itself for all those types of people at the end of the day. You know.
I don't know if you've played or seen. I know Detox has played it on stream, but like, is it Black Wake, the pirate game, and it's like Sea of Thieves as well? Is another one. And I think both of those are really good examples of how multi-crew will or could potentially work in Star Citizen, and again for the captain's point of view. So on Sea of Thieves, and I think actually both of them, the captain is the sort of like the one that's steering the ship. And because you've got these great big sails up in front of your face, you can't see where you're going anywhere else. So it does rely on other people telling you if something's in front of you, and also like I've been alpha testing like Sea of Thieves, and if nobody's got microphones, it's almost impossible to get a ship to function properly. Because you need them to raise the sails, lower the sails, change the directions, and they're all just sitting there not communicating. Plus the map
pump water out
for
of
the ship is actually underneath the deck. So someone actually, because you're as a captain, all you can literally see is the steering wheel and the sea in front of you, and someone has to go underneath you and tell you what direction you're facing with the compass and which way your ship's facing. So it's
cool though.
It's really it makes the gameplay a lot more fun. But you do definitely, communication is going to be a key thing, I think, for it.
I just want to say to Gamble, if you want sexy time with me after the podcast, we can hook up. We'll do some bit of a Dutch Canadian.
I think it's that hair you've got going on.
My hair today, there's no gel in it. I know it's curly.
He likes that pineapple look.
Yes. Oh, look at that. What's his or her name, RedLir?
That's Trouble.
It's a weird giraffe.
It's a weird giraffe.
It's a weird giraffe, yeah.
It's a Canadian giraffe, man. There you go. Oh, I love it. Look at that.
It's a giraffe hat.
Are you going to get like
this? This is what I wore to my first date with Sergeant Gamble.
What did he say?
Looking good, baby. Looking good.
Looking good. He's a bit of an animal himself as well. I know he would like that sort of things. What would be your spirit animal then, RedLir? Is that a giraffe? Yeah.
Yep. Giraffe spirit animal right here.
What would be Gamble's spirit animal? I wonder.
Probably a woodpecker.
A woodpecker? Why a woodpecker?
Why not?
Make your own joke there, chat. Make your own joke.
Sexy time and cheese. They go very well together, Kafir.
Yeah.
If needed.
Alright. Well, I think that's pretty much for like the turrets. There's not much more to say on that. Is anyone wants to bring up and discuss? Exclamation mark question in chat if you want to ask us any questions. We've got a couple.
RedLir, you are allowed to join into sexy time if you want, by the way.
Whoa.
I think he's requested private sexy time, so it's a little bit different.
I've heard differently.
You've heard differently. Okay, we're going to go.
Did we have any questions in chat? Did we have any on the forum? Did we have
We have a couple of questions that I'm going to go through because no one else has got anything else left to say. So we did actually have a couple of questions on the YouTube video that we put out last week. So we'll go through a couple of those and someone else. So the first question we had of the night is, once CIG has fully implemented the final UEC credits in-game, will we be able to purchase ships in-game with those credits and actually be able to keep the ships forever after 1 million plus hours of grinding for credits, even after the future update patches?
In full release, I think yes. That's what they mentioned multiple times, right? I think at this moment in time, no, because then they would shoot themselves in the foot. So what would be your reason to buy a ship with real money? Then let's be honest. They need to make money. Why would I spend £400 or $250 on a Banner Merchantman if I could buy it in game with a month grinding? Because I'm the cheap bastard as I am as a Dutch guy. We try to do everything as cheap as we can. So what I would do is I would rather grind it in game than spend real money on it. But then they wouldn't sell their ships as much as they do now, because that's the only option they have. So it's a double. When full release is there, obviously, yeah. But I think now in the alpha stages, we won't see that thing very, very shortly. And fair enough. I don't even see it as an issue. You know what I mean?
I think it's more that I think the question they're sort of saying is when it goes to UEC, but I don't think we're actually going to see the full conversion to UEC until it's live. I know some games they let you earn currency in the beta stages and things like that, but I don't think we're going to be seeing that in this game at all.
I thought we were going to get at least some ship purchasing in the alpha though, with alpha UEC right at some point. Maybe not all ships, but
yeah.
But only for certain periods, I think, right? Only for.
Hello, car.
Someone
second to fame.
So those would, for example, disappear again. Stupid example. If you buy them in 3.0, they would disappear again with 3.1, and you have to start over again, right? That was sort of idea, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, come the launch of UEC and ships. I mean, at some point you're going to be able to buy every ship in game within reason with the in-game currency, right? So obviously, yes, you would buy it as long as you insure it. I don't see why you wouldn't get to keep it. I mean, right now we're buying ships, but the term "buy," we are pledging. We're not
pledging
You are pledging to the crowdfunding of the game, right?
It's definitely
a different thing.
I think that's another interesting, because at the moment we haven't got the persistence in 2.6. You got the persistence of your currency, but everything else kind of resets. With 3.0, we're going to start getting persistence, so that this is going to be a big thing that will hit a lot of people. Obviously, it's like we're using your ammo up. When you do an FPS, the amount of people are probably going to go to a station and realise they haven't bought any more ammo for their gun and things like that. You've got to repurchase that. And I think kind of what they're saying, but I don't think it'll happen with Alpha. So we know that Alpha UC, you're going to buy ships. But we're obviously going to get server wipe, or will we get server wipes, where we all get reset like we're doing now, back to zero currency, and all your items get reset and things like that. Do you think that? I presume that we probably will, because things will go pear-shaped. I don't know what you lot think. But
yeah, I don't see it happening very soon, though.
You weren't listening to a word I fucking said.
Yeah, I was.
What? Come on, then.
Yeah.
Come on, just tell me what's not going to happen very soon, Sol.
I was interacting with chat, by the way.
No, I'm waiting. We'll sit here all night until you tell me what's not going to happen soon.
Oh, God. Hey, Bach, you heard any good polka music lately?
Oh, yes. How many playlists do you want to have?
I think if you see Buck come in your chat and anywhere near a song request, just quickly kick him out.
What was the song that you requested, if I may ask, Buck?
Oh, what is that damn song?
I don't know. I think it's the one from the Dumpert Anthem team.
Oh, no, you didn't.
That's the whole thing got started with Toby Tish hearing the Dumpert Anthem theme. And then next thing I know, I'm dressed up into a lederhosen, and my channel has polka music.
It just happened to be like a flick of a switch as well. Like it wasn't set up or anything. But next thing you know,
it's a good thing.
I'm trying to find it here. I don't know what it's
called. You know what I mean? Every channel needs a thing.
Yeah, just make sure they stay up, Bog.
I don't know, man. I don't promise anything at CitizenCon. I could drop a little.
At CitizenCon, my channel won't get banned, so it's not so bad.
I'm bringing a cork.
A cork.
Right, well, now Sol's paid full attention to that question. We'll go on to the second question. Do you guys think that we will be able to trade ships in-game and keep them once traded just wondering because I have a Dragonfly Black and I really want a Dragonfly Yellow jacket.
Eventually in full release, yes.
So,
well, the yellow though was a skin though, right? That they as like a one-time. Well, it wasn't a skin. I guess it was a version of it, but
yeah.
They had CCUs to it.
It was a version, but will you be able to trade? Because at the moment we've got like the
green or turning it a pink kitty or whatever the name is, space kitty, or whatever. You mean it in that way?
No, I think they mean like I've just bought this. So instead of you having to earn the money to go and buy a ship, someone you know could be rich and go, well, I've got 6 ships. Here you go, and give you one. Because we've talked about borrowing people's ships.
You mean like transferring assets?
Yeah, they're on about. I think they're on about literally transferring it and saying, well, you know. Or like dealing with somebody going and buying the ship off of them. So instead of going to the Port Arlisar station and buying a ship or something else, actually going to another player and trading their ship.
I mean, I would hold to be some sort of, player to player trade system going on. Whatever it's giving somebody to free or selling something to somebody. I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing for.
No,
you need pretty much every MMO has something similar.
Well, and the MMOs that don't are basically the ones dying first. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. If I would play an MMO where there is a controlled auction house by the devs or by the game itself, it's normally shit. You want to control it till a certain range. I think where like, okay, this is the maximum that you can pay for something. This is the minimum. But you need inter people trading. How else would a private army org otherwise operate? You know what I mean? You wanna hire someone to do something for you. You need to be able to pay him at the end of the day. So there needs to be. You can do that in the form of ships. You can do that in the form of VC or commodities. You want that sort of stuff in there.
Yeah.
The MMOs that don't are normally the ones that go down first. You know what I mean?
It's like pirates and things like that. I think if you want to be able to steal a ship, there needs to be at some point a way to transfer that ownership through illegal means or whatever. You can't just have it as like you can't trade it. Because that means you'd only ever be able to sell it to an actual station.
Just do me a favor. Tell your bot to calm down with calling me a fucking scrap dealer.
What?
Tell your bot to calm down by calling me a scrap dealer.
You're lucky you got that much. You should be a scrap collector.
Oh my god.
Ay.
I still love you though. In the Netherlands, we would say like a farmer with a toothache.
De boer met kiespijn.
What?
Yes. So that's a saying as well. So if you say I love you like a farmer with a toothache, it's very sarcastically meant.
Wait, is that like the opposite of the angel pissing on your tongue? Like if you ate something you didn't like, is like a farmer like taking a crap on your tongue? Like
No.
Is it the opposite? No, you don't have the reverse.
The devil pissing on your tongue or something.
Yeah, it's a weird language, Dutch.
I'm sorry,
guys.
It is.
Okay, so they were from Jessica J from YouTube. So the next question we got is from Citizen Shenanigans, and he says, Would you like one random malfunctioning oxygen refill station that grabs your helmet like a face hugger, inflates your suit like a balloon, and tosses you up in the air like a ball?
That would be cool.
But would I like that? Probably not.
That's so random.
I would not enjoy that.
I mean, I'd like to see it happen to somebody else. Who's just standing
like Sergeant Gamble.
Yeah, like Sergeant Gamble, exactly. I mean,
it's going to happen to you, miserable.
It probably will.
This is a Dutch saying as well. Seeing it through the fingers.
Seeing what through the
so you're basically turning a blind eye, seeing it through the fingers.
That's a Dutchism. They don't know that.
That's what Gamble said in chat, just to enlighten that.
Do you guys know a Dutch oven?
A Dutch oven? No.
Okay.
No?
Keep
you
it
need to try that with the missus, man. She'll love it.
Well,
what you do is,
so back on topic. Come on.
No, I want missus. So what you do is, when you're in bed with the missus and you're under one duvet, yeah, you basically fart, yeah, and you put it over your head. You put it over your head, and you make sure she can't escape out of it. And that's what they call a Dutch oven.
Miserable. Is this a PG-13 or are you set to R-rated?
No, I'm set to don't watch this stream. The thing is, though, in our house, it would probably be the other way around, and my missus would probably trap me because hers seemed like.
I don't want to know,
Jesus.
TMI.
You're the one that came up with it. Don't tell me. Jesus. Okay.
Women don't fart.
No, just some smell escapes from them instead. I suppose it's like the missus says she doesn't snore, but it shakes the house every time. Okay, so I think that's it for that question. We all like to see somebody blow up. You're a lucky person. No, I don't think so.
RedLir doesn't like it.
So the last one is from RedLir, and he says he's looking forward to the reach around after this cast.
Yes. I'm pretty sure I didn't ask that question, but it's definitely true.
I'm sure somebody like Sergeant Gamble probably asked it and put in a different name.
Yes, I think he's setting us up with each other as well.
Gamble's dating agency.
He's the love doctor today. Can you see Gamble flying around with two little wings and one of these bows where he's shooting people in the ass to make them fall in love with each other?
Except it's a rail gun.
Now comes the monkey out of the sleeve.
Yeah, that's a Dutch one as well, by the way. The monkey coming out of the sleeve.
What was the monkey doing in the sleeve?
We still don't know.
We still don't know. So it's basically like if you're not being honest with me and you're like giving into it, and we say, "Oh, there's a monkey coming out of the sleeve," you know?
No, not really.
All these question marks here.
Is this like some sort of magic show that went wrong, or like you didn't have a rabbit?
Yeah. You say Dutch things, but is this just like kids' TV that you used to watch? Or something?
No, these are proper Dutch sayings.
Made no sense whatsoever. It was like,
these are real Dutch sayings. This is not
monkey come out the sleeve. How does that? What's that got to do with telling the truth? I'm lost.
So it's something from the region where me and Buck are from. If you don't like something, and we basically say it's coming out of my ass.
Wow.
Het hangt me de kont uit, right? It's like
that's from Limburg. I'm not from Limburg.
We
don't even say that in Brabant.
Buck's not claiming it. No, I definitely didn't say
no way.
No way.
But originally, I'm not from Brabant, so I can hide behind that.
I think summing up this week, guys, I think we're all very fucking excited of what is to come, you know, and I think it's closer than ever. And on a serious note, I'm really excited of what is to come.
Haven't you got a Dutchism for really excited?
Yes, but I won't mention it because it's not good. But it's very exciting. You should go Amsterdam once. You'll see how that works.
Yeah,
I'll take you there one day.
I don't think I'm going to be.
I'll show you the good places.
I'm sure you could.
Why Amsterdam?
Yeah, you could do it everywhere in the Netherlands anyway. Yeah. But people like the setting of Amsterdam. It's a bit of a hype.
Je geil of wil je koekje? I'm not going to translate that one.
Are you horny or do you want a cookie? That's basically what he said.
Why can't we have both?
These guys are so confused right now.
I really should have had Gamble on this one as well, and we could just. I'll just.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. What Gamble said. It rains. It rains blowjob steals. That's one that we have as well. But it's.
It what? It rains blowjobs.
So, if it's raining, if there's a lot of rain, we would say it regent pijpenstelen. But pijpen, freely translated, means blowjob as well. But it has a double meaning basically. So he's translating it in the worst kind of way you could. It's like you have two different words that mean the same thing, you know.
Like it's awkward when you're with the women, then, doesn't it?
It could be a pipe, but it could also mean giving a blowjob, basically.
So you get awkward moments with your plumber, then.
So we say like raining cats and dogs here.
Yes,
exactly,
RedLir. That's what we say, and we say it.
But the thing is, if I say cats and dogs to somebody in another context, it doesn't mean blowjob. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Yes. That's where we ditch are a bit weird.
We have the dog's bollocks. Does that count?
The dog's bollocks, yeah. That's a good one.
And the bee's knees. I like the fact that every German is awake now with the word geil. Geil.
Yeah, geil. Bin so geil, ich bin so toll.
Pipe stems, right, okay.
Ich bin der Anton aus Tirol. You need to request that one, Buck, in RedLir's channel, by the way. DG Utsi.
So, any of you guys going to CitizenCon?
No,
I am not.
After this show, I'm gonna cancel it all.
Yeah, I was supposed to be sharing the same hotel as Buck, but
Going wrong now.
I might stay at home.
I'm visiting the parents, so I'm going CitizenCon anyway because it's like an hour away from the parents' place. Should be good.
No, but yeah, we're going, and it's the one and only thing I even look out for the most and 3.0. It's meeting you guys and.
Oh, it's going to be good.
It's going to be awesome.
It's a good thing to mention, maybe, what I put in the link, Miss. You want to bring that one up? We had Paul on, Paul Charlie, ladies and gentlemen, on, what is it called again? Citizen of the Stars? Is that the way
Yeah.
It's in the top bit.
I see you saying credit to Paul.
Yeah, behind it should be a link.
Yeah, it don't work.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, definitely for the people in the US of A's, in the Texas areas, or more easy access than us European guys to the Texas areas, definitely go check out the VerseCon. I think there's a watch party for the CitizenCon stuff as well. Miss is getting told off.
Bye!
There we go. Did you have any clue what I was talking about, Miss? Can you repeat that for me?
Yeah. Do you want me to repeat it for you? You were saying that the Astro Pub had an appearance on Citizens of the Stars, and that he's also going to be hosting VerseCon, which is on at the same time as CitizenCon, and it's for those that can't make it to CitizenCon.
Definitely, yeah.
Am I near the ballpark?
Yeah. Well guessed. Well guessed, sir.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, if you can't make it to CitizenCon, that looks like it's going to be an awesome event, actually. They've got quite a few things to give away. I think they're having hopefully some devs there as well, I think. But yeah, that looks really good. And yeah,
I'm pretty sure they've got a cardboard cutout of myself in a onesie that's going to be going around. People doing things to it.
They should.
That's what I heard.
And sign the back for it and then send it to you later.
That may or may not be a rumor, I'm not sure.
The rumor you just started, Aziz. And so yeah, I'm linking on to that actually is next week's podcast. We will be having a BritainCon special. So BritainCon, for anyone that doesn't know, it's been running 2 years in a row now. So next year, it's not until 2018, 21st of April. We have a get together in the UK, similar to VerseCon and everything else. And we have last year we had a couple of dev panels and a Arena Commander tournament and things like that there as well. Tickets are available to go. It's in Manchester, !Brit or something like that in chat. I'll give you the links to that. But next week's show, we're going to get one of the creators or founders of the event, and he's going to come on, and we're going to just discuss it more and talk about it. And got a couple of announcements next week for it as well. There should be announcing some of the guests that are going to be appearing, some of the devs, and also something to do with the tickets as well. So yeah,
definitely come and check it out, guys. It's stuff that is not out in the ether yet, so it's there are definitely going to be some things that nobody knows yet that will be mentioned next week Monday. So definitely come in. Shameless plug. Come and check out the podcast, and you'll hear some things about the event that have not been brought out yet. So
yeah, we've got some stuff that was going on last year, so we'll show some pictures and some videos of what went on last year, and then tell you what to expect for next year's one, basically. Hopefully, I mean, we're going to get 3.0 definitely by then, so it'll be interesting to see what you get from the dev panels. Kind of varies depending on what build and everything they're up to when the event's on. So it'll be interesting to see where we are at by April next year, to be honest. So yeah, that's next week's show. I'm not sure if I'm hosting it or Madness is hosting it, but we'll see. Otherwise, what are you guys up to this week, Buck? Do you want to tell everybody what you're up to this week? Now you've got your streaming PC fixed.
Not much. I will be switching back and forth between a little bit of Star Citizen, a little bit of Elite Dangerous, maybe some other games. I don't really have a dedicated second game still to fill up the gap between this and 3.0.
You've tried looking though.
Yeah, I've tried them all, but
I think we've all tried.
Yeah. it's still nothing, and we're all just basically stuck with 3.0 when it finally comes out. And I do watch a lot of other streams, so I usually hang around other people's channels if I catch them by chance. So yeah, that's basically my week.
Okay. And RedLir?
Yep, more Star Citizen streaming. We usually spend a lot of time in Battle Royale right now. I've been streaming, let's say, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Usually around 7 p.m. Eastern time.
How you finding Battle Royale? With getting enough people jumping in and playing it?
It's not so bad when you fire up the stream because you can get a couple people just to get in there and get involved and, start to learn to fly, I suppose, and kick off one and then more people join in. But yeah, it can be kind of slow right now. I think everybody's waiting for 3.0.
Yeah,
so.
It's been dropping off for a while, but I think now we've got the announcement of this out to Peter on Evocati. I think it's definitely more of a holding off now until that comes out.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, we'll jump into the PU and do some pirate action.
Awesome.
Nice.
And Soul?
Follow RedLir. Don't follow RedLir.
I don't think he was following me to begin with. So I'm not sure.
Shame.
I will be. It's a decision I made over the weekend. I think everything calmed down a bit with setting up the business, so you can expect 2 streams a day from me from the upcoming time, every day except Wednesday, because I take a day off on the Wednesday. In the afternoon, 2 p.m. British Standard Time, I will be streaming creative. In the evenings, I will be doing 2-3 hours of gaming. So if you're into any of that, afternoon is creative, and the evening is gaming. Mostly Star Citizen. Probably some other MMOs as well up until 3.0 hits, but the creative thing is going to play a big part, as that is the thing that I really love, So I hope people enjoy that and
you've been doing
just chatting shit.
Your iRacing car skins, haven't you? But are you planning anything else or just more of those?
Less of those, actually. I got a couple of jobs on from people that are interested in logo designs, branding, style guides, that sort of stuff. So we're going a bit into the more serious graphic design stuff. I asked the people that did those requests, the companies as well, if they were good at me streaming it and showing off how such a thing comes together and what my way of thinking is and that sort of things. I think it's cool for people to see, and it's nice for me as well because I have people to chat shit with. Basically, that's what I love to do during the daily basis, and it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be. I enjoy the community that we have. Is it Star Citizen / Twitch? It's you meet so many great people on here. It's absolutely crazy. Good. That's my thing. Miz, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
For me, my streams are suffering a little bit at the moment because obviously doing some testing to try and get this thing out to everybody else and help with that. So I'm trying to spend a little bit more time in that to get those done. And other than that, I've been playing Divinity Original Sin 2. Still playing that, looking at making a campaign or something in there as well. And I've been streaming that a little bit in the evening, so I'll be doing some more of that if anybody's interested in that sort of game. It's a bit more of a Dungeons and Dragons type thing rather than a Star Citizen. It's kind of completely random and different compared to Star Citizen, but that's pretty much what I'm up to. And then hopefully when 3.0 comes out, we can do a lot more. Well, even when it gets to the NDA drops and we can stream the test server, I'll be streaming the PTU and doing that really. And then I think just like everybody else, there'll be lots of it then. But hopefully we'll get to maybe do some multi-streams with Bock and people like that, and
for sure,
multi-crew and everything else, because I think that'd be quite interesting to show off some multi-crew stuff, I think.
Team
especially
up,
with these new turrets, which we discussed. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. So is there anything else anybody wants to add before we sum up and wrap up? Plug yourself or anything else? Any events you're going to? All good?
Not really. I'm going to the same site as you are going to, so we'll have some fun there.
Awesome. Okay,
I'm going to the kitchen later to get some pumpkin pie.
That's worth.
I'm meeting up with Gamble. We're having some sexy cheese time.
So wait, you're going to CitizenCon as well, Sol?
Yes, I will be visiting my parents. It's about an hour away from Frankfurt, down in the Limburg side. So I'll be driving up from from my parents' place. I still got my car and stuff in the Netherlands, so it's easy for me to just pick everything up and I'll drive down.
Belly rub.
That's an extra belly rub, yeah. We're gonna chill out, have a good time. I got a hotel booked as well, so I'm gonna stay over there because I don't want to drink and drive. So I'll probably get pissed out of my head. So I prepared for things. In the worst case scenario, I'll get my mom to pick me up.
Yeah,
it's not the first time that she's done
it. Don't forget to order yourselves a vignette, a sticker for your car for the Umweltzone.
Oh, I got that already sorted. Everything is.
Oh, okay, cool.
I've been back every year. You know, you need a bit of Christmas time.
Yeah.
With the Christmas trees and stuff.
Cool.
Special bumper stickers, is it? Is that like dogging?
No, you need a sticker on your windshield.
Otherwise, you can't drive in the city.
You can't drive in the cities in Germany, yeah.
For the environment, blah blah blah.
For the environment, we just charge people instead.
Yeah.
I'm driving a German-built car, so hopefully they'll let me off.
I'm coming in with a Suzuki Alto. Mip.
Little clown car.
You're driving up there then, Buck, yeah? You're not...
take me a while, but I will get there.
It's good, though. It's a good drive.
With a regular car, it will take me, let's say, 3 hours. But with this one, I think 4 to 5 hours.
Wow. Awesome.
Yep.
It's a good drive, though. You can go as fast as you want in certain parts of the
that
German,
thing doesn't go
as fast as he can, not as he wants.
Harder than 120, so
okay.
70 miles per hour.
You can dump the car in Limburg, and we'll drive up with the Beamer, and we'll be there in an hour, man.
Oh, that's cool.
We'll sort it out.
Okay then, guys. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks RedLir and Bock for being guests.
You're welcome.
Those in chat, if you haven't followed those guys, please make sure you go and !guests, get their links, go and follow them on Twitch. Both awesome streamers and definitely worth watching. And obviously, like we said, when 3.0 comes out, you'll see a lot more of everybody, I imagine. So yeah, give them guys a follow. We're gonna go and chuck over a host to just do it to the Moonshiners, I think. I don't think he's on.
Sure.
Oh, I see. It's Waffles and Biscuits. Yeah, we'll go and host him. He's only got a few viewers at the moment, so we'll go and chuck him a host. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. As always, the podcast will be going up on YouTube tomorrow, so if you missed any of it or want to watch it again for some crazy reason, and we'll try and get the audio up as well for you all. So let me just...
My apologies for last week's audio, by the way, guys.
And I also apologise for any internet issues that I've been seem to be having. It was my rate was up and down for most of the night for some reason, so hopefully it weren't too bad. Otherwise, thank you all. See you next Monday for the Bridges and Con special. I've just sent the host over, so take care everybody. Goodbye.
Ciao. See you.